come in and flood your mind, when you think you're going down, when you think you're not going to make it, when you think you're going to fail God, or you've not measured up, when the enemy comes in and tells you that you're unworthy, you're unholy, you're no good, you'll never get it, what do you do when the enemy comes in like a flood? You see, the Lord raises up a standard. Let me show you what that standard is. Look at verse 1. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. And he's put on his armor and set for battle. You have to have a clear vision that your Lord and Savior is standing by. His eyes on your flood, his eyes on you. You have to have a clear vision of what God has promised here. I've not ignored you. I see where you're at. I see what you're going through. Look at me. He says, I have girded myself. I put on my armor. I have my sword in hand. And then read what it says, verse 4. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. God says, get your eyes off the flood, get it on me. I've got my sword in hand. I am more powerful. I am mightier than all your floods. I'm bigger than all your fears. Get your eyes off your fears. He said, I've girded myself. That hit me. I could hardly sleep. I picture my Lord standing over me, sword in hand. He knows how far it can.
All right, and thank you for showing up. We almost didn't, but we're here. And I was going to do a fluff episode, but Brother Achilles, always being the responsible one, he said, no, we need to continue on with Job. And I agree with him because he's right. So this is going to be a Job episode. So glad all of you guys came. Hit that like button. Feel free to share this unless you're Claude. And Achilles, what am I missing?
Unless you're a bunch of other guys as well, for sure.
I'll be right back.
And I don't know. Today, Stephen has more of a mood to hear people talking and all that, but I don't have that mood today, because I've noticed that so many people out there that just want to talk. Like that's why they are on live streams, because they want to talk, not to listen. So yeah, go ahead.
Do you know the mute button?
I know it. I know where it is.
The one that mutes the big screen and everything that's on there.
You had it muted.
I had it muted.
Okay.
Yeah. I refreshed for nothing.
I've had that happening too. So
Achilles and I just haven't been here mentally. We checked out yesterday.
So I was just telling to the big crowd that we have that today I feel a little, I don't know, worn out. Of maybe it's because I haven't slept well and I've been working, and then when that happens, I lose the appetite to deal with shut ears that just have a microphone and their speakers seem to be not working. And I've been going back and forth for the past week into arguments, some unscheduled debates, joining a couple of people's shows because they were saying that Jesus told Nicodemus about baptism. So if there's no baptism, you can't get saved. So I had to jump in there and bring Ezekiel and Jeremiah, and got some stupid excuses about them. And it's not just one hit me with a very stupid excuse. He was a Catholic. The other one said, oh, Where are those verses? He was a Baptist. And I don't know, man. Am I the only one reading? And the others just seem to completely ignore it. And they will continue on preaching the same thing about baptism. So I don't know if people are actually online to preach the gospel or their gospel. I don't understand people that don't see that as the greatest responsibility. If you are opening up your mouth, it better be the gospel. And because I've been having so much back and forth with those people that I think only have microphones, not speakers, because they don't seem to be listening. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. I hope they have no speakers. You know what I'm saying?
True.
They better have no speakers because they can go to God and say, my speakers were not working when Achilles said that. Because he gave them ears and they're not using them. So I don't know, just because of all that in all different levels, from the atheists that I went to the so-called believers, um, I just wanna dig in the Bible. That's all. That's all I want to do today.
Well, I'm ready to dig in, and I won't even congratulate you on your victory with the debate that you had in prompt two. We will pretend that you didn't annihilate your opponent, and we will jump right into Job without even mentioning that you are a recent debate victor.
Victory belongs to God, my brother.
Amen.
He put those words in my mouth. He put that knowledge in my heart.
And you rocked it. So, Job,
I hear he did another show about our reaction, like
oh,
it's a
and
reaction.
leaving comments. Yeah,
Yeah,
you hurt his feelings big.
and it was a reaction to the reaction of the debate. So what what Awake would call inception.
Hey, he's here. He's here, by the way.
PKA.
But
Oh, hello. So I didn't watch any of that. Like I haven't even clicked on it. I'm just letting you know. I suppose you have your opinion. You have the right to an opinion. I don't. Uh, I get the right to not hear more about it. It was good enough.
I think you should debate more, though.
I don't know,
Ex-
man. It wears me out. And then, since TKA just joined, I spent the last 5 minutes talking about fellow Christians, how exhausting some discussions have been. And I mentioned that if I guess I'm so tired because of that, and maybe that unscheduled debate. But on that debate, I didn't feel like the other party was not listening. I mean, I know I can change his mind, but for some reason, atheists out there, some of them at least, have better ears than some Christians, some denominational Catholics and Orthodox. There was something in my throat there. So if you told me to go debate, sorry for that sound, my encoding finished, my export. I would choose to debate atheists than debate, let's say, King James dogma.
it depends on the atheist. I would say that I would much rather debate Joe on objective morality than I would rather debate Bruce on the King James Bible. Yeah, that is for sure. I'll accept that. I would rather debate Bruce on the King James Bible, though, than I would care to debate with, like, say, Aiden on whether or not Noah's Ark was real.
And for me, being Greek, when I get that feeling that you resort to show them something from the Greek and they shut their ears instead of learning something and say, hey, wait a minute, he's right. My Bible is the only one that doesn't say what the Greek says. And he just brought up the Textus Receptus that I told him that the King James is based on the Textus Receptus. And he brought up the Textus Receptus and he showed me the word. And the only Bible that doesn't have the same word is the King James. No, they're not doing that. So what a waste of time, man. At least the only thing that gives me hope is that there are viewers. And the best viewers are those that are not there to chat. They're listening and they're taking in different opinions without having to comment on them. Because again, there are people that are out there just to talk, and there are people that are going to live streams only to chat and have their opinion on what you're saying. Like you're saying something and you get an opinion of that something in the chat. Some people are not hearing what you're saying. They're not going to research what you're saying. They're just there to tell you what the consensus says because you didn't know.
Look,
And
I feel the same way when I have these conversations with people in the chat about Ron Wyatt and the validity of his claims. Like there's ample evidence, and you literally have to just, what are those birds that hide their heads in the sand? You have to be just like that
ostriches.
bird, ostrich.
Ostriches.
But you have to be oblivious to reality outside at all to not accept the claims. So I get it. And hey, we've had our share of
Oh,
taking on orthodoxy and Catholicism and Mormonism and the far conservative circles of even our own faith. So, I mean, we're being fair about it. We're picking the fights where they need to be.
and I just remembered something, which is completely irrelevant to the study that we're doing today. But I wanted to show this to you, Stephen, and why not show it live? Yay!
Okay, but I should say one thing,
Uh-huh.
and I don't care either way, but we're 13 minutes and 14 minutes, really. And we may want to reschedule the Job episode.
Why was going on?
Just because, you know, if you have to watch 20 to 30 minutes of a video before you get to the topic of the video, it could just be annoying for people. So I'm fine just
But yeah,
having that a different time.
we can change the title later. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
I want to showcase a video by our brother Jamie Russell, CME. He uploaded it. Maybe it says 1 day here, but I'm pretty sure it's close to 2 days. It's called The True Church, but Adventists are a cult for keeping the Sabbath. So he's gonna show us the true church, and he's gonna show Orthodox Christianity on this video. And good luck watching this, my brother.
All right, let's see what we got. And Jamie made this?
He uploaded it. He wasn't there when they were recording it because he doesn't go to the Orthodox gatherings. But it's funny that they call the Adventists, you know, a cult. And this is what Orthodoxy does. Oh, sorry for that. Did you see that, Stephen?
I did. And I have to say, I bet that foot would make a mean pot of stew.
And how they're, I mean, I would run away from that water, not fight people to get. Look at this.
Wow. Well, they do have a lot of gall calling Seventh-day Adventist cultists. And Krista is in the house. Welcome, Sister Krista, aka Honey Bunny.
Hello, sis. Oh, hello. We got a camera and everything.
Yeah.
But okay, try again.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, much better.
All right.
And for all the Orthodox and Catholics out there, this is how the headphones work. You put them on your ears. So when somebody tells you something, you actually hear it.
So we might as well break out that big breaking news that James White delivered to Achilles. Apparently, Achilles witnessed this on an episode of James White's show on Alpha Omega Ministries YouTube channel. And it turns out that they have demoted poor Mary. She is no longer a, how did you word it, Achilles? Co-redeemer?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna throw this in. Gonna show you right now. After I reject the cookies. All right, so I'm coming back to share. Am I?
Yes.
No, I mean, I was lost a little bit, but here we are. So, okay, wait, I'm trying.
Mater populi fid.
No, mater,
Mother.
which is mother, but it is funny that they're using that Latin term mater because Magna Mater was the great mother, and it was a pagan Babylonian deity that
Of
then
course it
became,
was.
yeah, yeah. So why is it so big? Right? Not. But please, you're exhausting me, Chrome. You're exhausting me. Let me refresh and see if it gives it to me in English. No, it doesn't. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go on Mozilla.
And Mozilla's going to automatically translate to English?
This was supposedly in English, and it got Google Chrome said, "Oh, you're in Greece, so I bet you want this in Greek. So let me translate the whole thing for you." All right. So, okay.
You know, everyone on this panel here tonight is older than Google.
Share screen, entire screen. What can I do? No audio. All right. All right, bring it up. You got it? Want me to zoom in?
Yes. Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom,
So,
zoom, sohor.
so on November 4th, which is 2 days ago, the Catholic Church released a doctrinal note. I read a note published by the Vatican Disastery, as we say, disaster. I don't know how would you pronounce that? Disaster. I mean,
Yeah.
disaster. For the doctrine of the faith on November 4, 225, it clarifies the appropriate titles for Mary, emphasizing her role as a mother and intercessor while rejecting titles like co-redemptrix and mediatrix that could overshadow the unique role of Jesus Christ in salvation.
Duh. It took
Like,
the whole church to finally come to the conclusion that Achilles and I have made for a year and a half now.
and all the Protestant movement, right?
Maybe this means the Pope watches our show.
But notice this, emphasizing her role as a mother and intercessor. So she still is an intercessor.
To the Catholics and the Orthodox, maybe.
There is no other intercessor between God and us. It is only Jesus. So, because it says emphasizing her role as a mother and intercessor while rejecting titles like co-redemptrix and mediatrix. Wait a minute. If you're saying she's an intercessor, then you're saying mediatrix. Is it me? I mean,
same.
so the document clarifies various titles attributed to the Virgin Mary and her role in the work of salvation. Mother of believers, approved. Spiritual mother, approved. Mediatrix of all graces, cautioned against. Let's be a little careful with that one.
I'm careful with the first two. She's not the mother of me, and I'm a believer. And she is certainly not my spiritual mother.
She's not the husband, the wife of God.
Mm-mm.
And God is our spiritual father. And quoting.
Now, wait a minute. When she gets to heaven, aren't all those priests on that mountain in Greece supposed to be married to her?
Yep.
So if she's their spiritual mother, and then she's going to marry them in heaven, is this spiritual incest?
And I would say it's straight up paganism to dedicating 300 monks to a dead person. Straight up paganism. And what's very annoying is that the reason they're telling you straight up, but not if they think you are questioning them, for the doctrine. But if you are like a child and you want to learn and you ask about Mary, they're gonna say that Jesus is very strict. That's why we go to Mary. So if you take the real mediator and you make him a scare figure, you're an antichrist. I mean,
No, I mean, I'd agree. It always refers to him as the lamb led to the slaughter, the Lamb of God. He's always this figure that is welcoming and approachable in someone who died on the cross for you. And they turn him into a mean, angry God.
Yeah. How more self-sacrificial can you be? Right? And then they turned him into a scare tactic.
Krista, any thoughts on this?
Krista is like, I'm here for the job, study.
Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. There's no study of Job tonight.
So something I picked up yesterday as I was watching Ron Wyatt. Did I say Ron Wyatt? Yeah, James White. Sorry. He said something and he was bashing his desk when he was saying it. And that is so simple, man. If she was your spiritual mother, you would have her spiritual word inside the New Testament. You would have something in the New Testament from her to guide you spiritually. You have nothing. Nothing. Whatever is happening today with Mary, James White said, was completely unknown to all the apostles. So they are claiming apostolic succession from those that had no idea that we would be worshiping Mary. And they're worshiping Mary. Yet they're claiming the succession. I mean, you can be dumb, but how dumb can you be? To believe all that.
I think what it is when the church had a call to come out of all of its pagan ways, the institution that we now know as the Catholic Church, they were unwilling to shed themselves of the paganism. Now, it's really hard to paganize Jesus. It is. You can paganize his birthday, you can paganize holidays and holy days, but it's hard to paganize Jesus. So, inevitably, what they had to do was elevate Mary so that they could paganize Mary, and through Mary, they could keep and hold on to most of their pagan traditions.
Food for thought for any Catholic or Orthodox that is watching this. Food for thought. I know some, I've met them here. They will remain Orthodox no matter what. But I feel very sad that they will never experience the transformation and rebirth that I've experienced. That ain't gonna happen because they're praying to the wrong person. And
Do you believe Catholics and Orthodox are outside of the faith?
yeah,
Like in a whole?
and I know the church is, right? I know the church is leading them astray. And some are very scared to look outside the church. Most. But I know that because Catholicism is bigger than Orthodoxy, there are Catholics that end up getting saved. I mean, we know a couple,
Yeah.
even here, right? So we can never know what's in people's hearts. I know what the church is doing; it's wrong, and our job, instructed in the book of Ephesians, I think it's chapter 5, to have no fellowship with the works of darkness, but rather expose them. 5:13 comes to my brain. I think it is Ephesians 5:13. So I can speak for the hearts of people. I think God sees the heart even of Muslims, even of others being led to the cliff by Buddhism. He sees their heart, and he has his law in their heart, even if they haven't received the evangelism. But the church needs to be exposed.
To answer your question, Joe from Kentucky Atheist, it is in fact our position that Catholics, Mormons, and Orthodox believers are not Christian. They
No
are
believers, no believer. No, his question is whether they are Christian religions, and yes, we are in the position that those churches are not Christian, but
right.
the people. There are a lot of people that find the way, and the way is clearly set out in the Bible. Whoever ends up reading the Bible and is not getting scared away from it, they end up getting transformed, changed, but not from
Now,
the church.
now we also need to clarify that both the Catholic and Orthodox churches are apostate. They were once truly Christian, I believe, and they drifted away. The Mormon church was never Christian. It has always been an antichrist cult.
But yet, although I agree on that about Mormons, um, if you go back in history, the Orthodoxy relates to the Byzantine Empire, which was the left wing of the Roman Empire.
Mm.
Greeks call themselves Romans, even to this day, fantasizing the Byzantine times coming back. We are Romans. Oh, yeah, sure. So if you do go that way back, that far back, I don't know, man. I think they saw the Rome, the empire, saw that Christianity is going big, and I should try to control it. And if you can control people's minds, then you can control them easier. So I think from its birth, its job was to control and not to save. See what I'm saying?
Yes. So Joseph wants to know if you can still accept the Trinity.
Joseph,
but,
Joe. Yeah, okay.
Joe,
But because Joseph is confuses me with the our Joseph. So okay, Joe.
Right. So he wants to know, and I answered in the chat, but you can answer too, either one of you guys. So you can still accept the Trinity, but not the current version of Catholicism. 1000%.
Catholicism is no longer a trinity; it is a quadranity.
True, because now they've squeezed in Mary.
So yeah, we go with the Trinity. And that's coming from an ex-Orthodox.
Now, Krista, she loves Catholics. And she loves Catholicism. She does the praying with the beads and all of that.
Wait, huh?
I just wanted to see if you were still paying attention, my love. Kentucky atheist, you are mistaken, my friend. The Catholic Church in no way invented the Trinity idea at the Council of Nicaea. We see evidence of the Trinity even in the Old Testament, starting all the way back in Genesis. And we see elements of the Holy Trinity from almost every single book of the Bible. So, no, sir, you are just totally incorrect.
Yeah, what you can say, what you can change in this sentence, and you will be correct, is canonized the Trinity. Right? If you were to say that, then that is the case, because it's all over the New Testament, and as Stephen says, it even goes back to the Old Testament. And then at some point in the Council of Nicaea, it got canonized. It became canon, and it was an anathema to talk about oneness and not a Trinity. So yes, that they did, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, even in the book of Genesis, there's multiple places God saying, let's make man in our image, let us go down and confuse their language. There's when Abraham entertains the three angels. He addresses and acknowledges all three angels, but calls them all three my Lord, singular, when they are plural. So even in the story of Abraham, and there is the elements of the Holy Trinity. That is not a Nicene in development.
Even in the book of Genesis, he says, let us make man in our image. If it's not the Trinity, then what was he referring to?
Right. Yeah. So no, I will not give that credit to the Catholics. No, sir. They would love to steal the credit, but I'm not going to give it to them.
And it got canonized by a church that was supposedly the official church. I mean, you better canonize it, you know? I mean, it's expected.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you can just use the Bible. You don't have to have any Catholic Church influence to get to the Trinity. There are scripture verses that call the Father God. There are scripture verses that call Jesus Christ God, and there are scripture verses that call the Holy Spirit God. It's obviously, since there's only one God, that the Trinity is existent. It's three gods in one.
And I don't know, Stephen, do you have any recollection of where it was that they canonized carrying around a foot of a dead person and dipping it in water, and then people taking that water and drinking it? Where was that canonized?
I mean, maybe it was something that we got liberty to do in the New Testament, but in the Old Testament, you're not even supposed to touch dead carcasses. And if you touch a dead carcass, you're supposed to leave camp for, I think, overnight or 3 days or some element of time. So no, God is not a God of dead bodies and mangled figures. That's why even his son he brought back from the dead. And it does God no justice to pass around a dead foot and dunk it in water for people to drink.
Kentucky says that there is no record of Christians worshiping the Trinity, but I'm not sure he has read the Bible because we just gave you so many places and it's all over the Bible. So
Yeah,
Christians did
and
worship.
it's just a really funny comment because Christians go up into the point of Christ. Nicaea was not that long after Christ was resurrected from the dead. And before Christ walked the earth, there was no such thing as a Christian. You were just a believer, a follower of the way. You were a Hebrew 9 times out of 10. So none of that really makes any sense, Joe.
And the reason it got canonized is because there were a lot of paganistic influences that the early Christians were fighting with,
And the Gnostics.
and the Gnostics. So there had to be some authority, and to be fair, it was needed. It was needed, and it's good that they did. And I'm not sure it was the Catholic Church. I don't think you could call it the Catholic Church back then, because the term Catholic is from means all the church. So at some point it picked up authority in order to be able to get rid of some doctrines. Then, it took up a greater meaning, like this is the Catholic Church and split with the Orthodox and all that, and it kept the name Catholic. But Catholic is a Greek word and means all of it, means the whole church. So in order to differentiate and say that it's not just somebody that talked about the Trinity, they had to pick up the name Catholic Church, like all the church agrees upon this. And it was called the Council because in order for that to happen, all the churches of Ethiopia, of Greece, of Russia, of Rome, all the churches united in the councils.
Amen. Amen. I wish Bruce would come on in here and defend the faith, but he's getting ready for church. Joe, you're welcome to come have this conversation with us on stage. We have the link out there for you. For anybody who wants to come in and challenge us or agree with us. We'd prefer you guys come in and agree with us. And yeah, I would say to Joe's comment, he says most Christians don't know the Bible, just what they're told in church, which of course leaves out a lot. I 1000% agree with that. But I would add a caveat that the atheists know just as little about their faith as Christians know about their own. You know, I have asked every atheist I've ever met, where does life come from? And every one of you guys has not been able to give me an answer. So I wouldn't say your religion has all the answers.
And now you're gonna hear, oh, evolution is not a religion. Yeah, right. Let's not go back to doing like 100 shows to prove how stupid evolution is and what a religion it is and how much faith you need to be an atheist.
Yeah, because I don't have enough faith to be an atheist, especially with all the archaeological evidences that have come out in the past 20, 30 years. I don't have the faith to be an atheist. Like, even if I don't want there to be a God, you would be a fool to not know in your heart and outwardly that there is a God. And you can feel inside the judgment is coming to all mankind.
And that's what the Bible calls atheists fools. It's not our term. The fool has said in his heart that there is no God. you kind of need to be a fool to not see him in creation. And nothing personal, Joe. We're not calling you a fool, but it is foolish to not see him in creation. I mean, I was hearing somebody the other day. I was saying there was that woman uh, that was at the beach. She was looking at the sea. She had her arms raised up, and she was saying, "I am God. I am God." And in front of her was the sea. Like, that contradiction never hit her. Like, when did you make that?
True.
God, when did you build this? I don't remember. So dumb.
Another comment. After discarding Catholics and Mormons, Christianity falls to the fourth most believed religion, so I guess everyone else is a fool. We're not looking for the numbers. Like, we are wanting the numbers in terms of souls. We would love to win more souls, but we don't have to be the biggest religion in the world, nor do we care to be. First is last in the kingdom of heaven. And according to our God, narrow and hard is the way, and few find it. So by discarding all the Catholics and Mormons, you solidify the words of our Savior. So thank you for that, Joe.
And I would want to ask, can you bring that up again? Come in, Baptist dude. We'd love to have you. I don't catch your math here. After discarding Catholics and Mormons, which is with an O, by the way, uh, Christianity falls to the fourth most believed. So wait a minute. Before discarding Catholics and Mormons, where was it? And why discarding Catholics and Mormons changes the position?
It probably, if you include Catholics, Mormons not so much, but Catholics, if you include in Christianity, then yeah, we already start off with over 1 billion. So I would say it's probably still not the first ranked, but it would have been like the second. So he's probably right. If you take
Wait
out
a
a
minute.
billion Catholics and so many millions of Mormons, it probably would fall down to third or fourth.
Yeah, but if you add Orthodoxy too, which is Russia, Greece, and everything in between, I don't want to be naming countries, but all of them around here,
Hmm.
um, we're yeah, okay, we're not that many as the Hindus or I don't know, the Chinese that believe that you gotta be a good citizen to go to heaven. Taoism, I guess we're not that many, but it does rank up to um, the most serious religion.
I would think that not Mormonism, I'm sorry, Islam. Isn't Islam the number ranked religion?
It's growing because they're killing Christians and forcing Islam in countries and keeps growing. So you have all the Muslim world, which is a big thing.
True.
But yeah, but then if you want to be fair, you should be running a distinction there too and make a division there too between the Houthis and the not Houthis. What what was those names?
Buddha?
Houthis and yeah, slips my tongue. The
Who
other one.
was Houthi?
Islam is separated in two, just like the official Christianity is separated in two. Um, it's Shiites. Okay, I remember it. Uh, I think it's
There's
Shiite,
Sunnis and Shias?
Sunnis and Shiites. Yes,
Got you.
and aren't the Houthis too another Muslim? So if you start separating those as well, and you don't unite them, but separating Christianity to make the numbers look.
Yeah, I remember one of the main differences between those two elements of the Muslim faith is that one of them holds to Sharia law and the other one does not, right?
Maybe, I don't know. And yes, Houthis are another sect. It's a different one, a third one.
So
So
3 denominations of Islam.
Islam, yeah,
Well, you never hear that in debates between Christians and Muslims.
right. They all agree. All those three agree of taking the heads of infidels like Christians. They don't disagree there. Oh no, that's we agree there. That's fine.
Yeah, as soon as what is it? They have a term, and
Jihad.
whenever jihad, yes, you know exactly what I was talking about. When they call for jihad, they all have to unite in persecution against us, particularly Christians and Jews.
Yep.
Wonderfully peaceful religion.
Yeah, and they say we are the religion of peace. And I'm like, what? You're the what?
All right, we have the Kentucky atheist with us. How are you doing, Joe?
Doing all right. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
It's all good, man. Do you need an avatar, or do you got this?
Let me see here. I got
Okay, because I'll find a Jesus picture for you. I'm kidding.
it.
3 wooden crosses.
Yeah, I love when you join Daniel's show. You have like 5 seconds to put an avatar because he's already browsing the icons and he's putting an icon on you. So I always move fast.
Well, I try to convert him to my religion too. Anytime he used to come on my show, I'd put a Jesus or a cross on him.
Yeah.
So you gave him that idea.
Yeah. And then one day he left me unattended for like a minute, and I used it as a chance to call people to leave Orthodoxy and come out of the paganism and come back into Christianity. And he
Yeah, I
didn't know
remember that.
about it at the time, but he found out after the fact, and he was quite ill with me.
Yeah, I remember. So you see, TKA, we have each other to fight. You know, we have some spare time for atheism. But
Well, I don't. I didn't come over here to fight with you guys. I actually came to.
debate.
Originally, I was coming to address the whole request for a 3 versus 3 debate and all that, and see if you guys wanted to set something up. But I don't want to do 3 versus 3. I'll do 3 versus me. If you want to do that, or however you want to do it. But I think if you get 3 versus 3, it's just going to be a mess, though.
To be honest, I agree. A 3-on-3 is a mess. Like,
You know.
how much time does each one get? And
Yeah.
when you make it to the point of cross talking, good luck there.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at like a 5-hour debate to try and do it that way.
Well, more what I was thinking is, say it was me, Achilles, and Joseph, we would deliberate between ourselves real quick which one wanted to take the answer on, whatever your question was posing. But if you guys think it's too much, it's too much. But I'm definitely down to schedule anything else anytime.
Well, I've got John the skeptic is coming on this Saturday, but next Saturday, if you guys want to try and do something, we can. I mean, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a debate. We can just discuss it if you want, and I can still have Robin like set it and moderate, so we don't get to talking over each other or whatever. Or if you want to organize structured debate, we can do that too. It doesn't matter.
I don't like structured, and there are people like you that I will call it being capable of carrying a conversation. So if I need to interrupt you on what you're saying, you're accepting it, and if you need to interrupt me on what I'm saying, I'm accepting it because that's how discussions go down. You know, there are, and I call it. I chose my words carefully. I call it being capable. I don't think everybody is.
I agree. Some people need that structure, or they just act full.
Yeah, that's why the structured debate needs to exist, because if they don't have that, they just keep talking over the other person. They won't let them speak. And yeah,
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I don't know if I really don't know that going over objective morality is going to bring out anything new. I mean, we can if that's really what you want to talk about. But I mean,
I have.
I would kind of like to address this atheism as a religion or evolution as a religion thing, if you want to discuss that.
Here's an idea to make something funny. We give a list of subjects to Robin, and she puts them down with a number, and we pick a number, and
Okay,
whatever, and
I've
whatever.
got a well, I use EVMux too, so we could put it on the wheel app on there and spin the wheel and let it pick whatever topic we're going to talk
Right,
about.
right, right. Something like that. Well, I actually haven't. I've never browsed here to find the wheel, so I'm gonna look that up right now. It does have a wheel. I've
Yeah,
seen.
if yeah, under apps and widgets, it's got a prize wheel you can use.
Okay, I think I need to bring up a pro scene in order to do that. So I'll do it backstage because it's gonna change our layout.
Yeah, we could give like I could come up with three, 4 or 5 topics. You guys could come up with three, 4 or 5 topics, and then we talk about it until it starts, getting off track or whatever, and then let people super chat to change the topic, and then we spin the wheel and change the topic. Um,
I think that sounds interesting enough for a whole series, you know,
yeah,
because I don't know, I like it a lot. I like this randomness. Let's see what the wheel brings and see how ready people are to discuss that. Instead of people, sitting down and working on it for a whole week, and then,
yeah,
I love randomness. I mean, I don't love chaos. I mean, I love that, bringing a subject random.
yeah.
Hello.
And admittedly, there's topics that each person is going to have strengths and weaknesses in, and there's some topics of the Bible and Christianity that I feel confident having a conversation about, and some that not so much. So uh you know whatever.
Right, right. I love the idea. Hello, Mr. Prez.
Well, can you guys make it?
Man,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
oh no, no problem. Hello, but who let this low life Steven on my channel? We know, no, no, just joke. Hi, Joe. Nice to hear you.
Hey, what's up,
Love
Dan?
some of the stuff you do that I've heard.
Dan, your connection is pretty good again.
Oh,
Go
well,
ahead, Joe. You were saying something.
um yeah, hi Dan, and thanks. The would you guys like to come like next Saturday at 3? And I mean, between now and then, of course, we'll work out the details, but I have to schedule it to do it. That's the only way I can make sure that I'm able to do it.
Yeah, fine by me.
Okay. 3 p.m. Eastern next Saturday. Is that
I,
okay with you guys?
he is with me, but I don't know if Steven is around. I think he's AFK, so he didn't hear it. So give it a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. In other news, uh, I am going to go feed my pups real quick. Not yet. When Steven or Krista takes over, or Dan even.
You you mean you guys aren't going to leave the Proverbs Guys channel open for me to just talk about whatever I want?
Okay, so let me ask you, why do you hate God? I'm kidding.
Oh, right, right.
Sorry, Achilles. I only stepped away for a minute because I literally remembered that in like 20 minutes I was supposed to host a debate for Doc and an atheist, and turns out the debate was canceled. So, crisis averted.
All right, so we scheduled a debate where you were gone.
Oh, Wow. Okay. When?
Next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, if you guys are available.
All right. Who do you want?
You can all come if you want. I mean, it's not so much a debate. I mean, we can schedule an individual like debate if you want, but I figured we would just do the thing of like we talked about a list of topics. You guys can pick a few, and I'll pick a few, and we'll talk about them until they either get stale or somebody wants to change the topic, and we'll let Robin spin the wheel, and we'll randomly talk about each topic.
Yeah, Joe, I don't think he heard the whole thing.
I'm
Steven,
in.
there is an app here on Evmax, a
Hmm.
wheel. We can add subjects to the wheel and have it spin.
Oh.
And once it spins, it's going to give us the subject, and we'll just keep going on that subject until it gets stale, as Joe said, or if a super chat wants change or something like that.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I'm down.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun way to do it.
It looks like Dan keeps coming in and dropping out.
He's in California, in and out. Yeah, they're big over
Dan,
there.
unmute and say hello before you drop out again.
I already said hello. I tried to make a joke and have Joe think I thought he shouldn't be on our channel. I said the scumbag, and I used your name, but you weren't there, so it's okay.
He's the one
Um,
kicking you out because you said it.
I haven't banned anyone
oh,
in a long time.
and you guys aren't giving me that advice how to ban people, because I'll ban everybody, but then I'll ban myself.
You
And then
couldn't
that
ban.
began
You
because
couldn't ban
I've kind
Claude
of a
to
little bit
save
of
your
your
life.
testimony though, and that way Achilles can go feed his pups.
Yeah, I'll
And
be
if
right back.
I fade out the
I'll
internet,
be right back, guys.
it
Yeah,
won't be
Dan,
awkward.
you may want to get by that magical window of yours, the one that helps you get signal. And Joe, if you don't mind me asking, I think I've maybe asked you this before, but was there ever a time where you were a believer?
I was a believer. In fact, I believed pretty much the same thing you guys do as far as the young earth creationist position up until I was about 25 years old.
And how old are you now?
43.
Okay. What was it that started the change?
The first thing that happened was a book I'd read called A Spiritual Solution to Every Problem. And it described the creation stories of I mean, that's not what the whole book was about, but it had a section that described the creation stories of various different religions. And when I read that, that was the first thing that clicked in my head was like, well, obviously these all can't be true. And why should we believe any one of these? They all seem to be written by fallible humans, and it's their best attempt to explain the world around them with the tools they had at the time. And so, but when I went to college, it was really, I mean, it was really just science and education, that science, biology, geology, and physics that really changed my mind.
Hmm. Well, but what about the fact that so many different religions actually reference Jesus? Like the Buddhist religion references Jesus, the Hindu religion has references for Jesus, Taoism, Muslim, they all kind of point to Jesus as one of the possible ways. But then when you get to the words of Jesus, he makes it really clear that he is the only way.
Well, I mean, I would say that Islam makes those claims too. Um, what makes Christianity's claim of that any better than Islam's claim of it?
Well, my point is that Islam points to be the way, but they also point to Jesus as being something very special. Jesus points to himself as the way, and he never points to Islam, Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism. He always points to himself. I would just think that's noteworthy.
I don't I don't know that not mentioning another religion doesn't means anything, but also Islam does point to Jesus as being important, but refers to him as a prophet, and nothing more.
Well, no, that's not exactly true. It is true that they report that he's a prophet, but they report that he is a prophet that was specifically prophesied about, and that he is a very special prophecy fulfilling prophet. He's
Right.
not just a regular prophet like Christians have in our Bibles.
Well, see, the problem with Abrahamic religions is they all rely on Judaism to be true for them to be true. So they kind of have to, once, whether they accept Jesus or not, is a different story. But whenever they do go accepting Jesus, then of course it was prophesied in the Bible beforehand, which then you can have a discussion about what things are or are not prophecy and the efficacy of them.
See, I don't think that the Abrahamic religions at all are propped up by Judaism, especially considering that the Hebrew faith is older than Judaism.
Okay, yeah, right. So right, these stories originated back before the tribe of Judah. Um, the some of the Old Testament stuff, not all of it, but much of it did. So I can see why you take that position, but those that belief system of the Hebrews is what eventually the tribe of Judah adopted and became Judaism. So I would say that it's kind of the same thing, just it went by a different name beforehand.
Well, it's sort of a hybrid of Judaism mixed with the Khazarite religion, the Khazites, or sometimes referred to as the Khazar people.
Hmm.
And it's more a hybrid. But like you stated, yeah, the Jewish tribe, the tribe of Judah, is one of 12 tribes of the Hebrew faith, which predates it by a lot, starting with the patriarch Abraham.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that that's the way it's laid out. I think that that's the way it's, and I think historically speaking, like I've had talks with Kip Davis about this specific thing, and I think that that's what you see, like the various tribes, but were doing different things and fighting amongst each other at the time, and then the tribe of Judah specifically is the one that first adopted those stories and then furthered it into what later became Judaism. Yeah, so I think that works.
Yeah. And see, I don't even think, the New Testament is beautiful and it's wonderful, and I'm so glad that we have it. But even to establish the Christian faith, I don't think you need the New Testament. I think you can get there from the Old Testament, because Jesus is prophesied all through the scriptures and they were always waiting on a Messiah.
Well, I think you're right, but then I also think you if without the New Testament though, you just have Judaism rejecting that because they don't accept Jesus Christ as Messiah, or
Mm,
Jesus it wouldn't be Christ.
a portion of the Jews rejected Messiah. A portion of the Jews also accepted Messiah when he was here, and that was the establishment of the first generation church. Basically, it was a bunch of messianics.
Well, yeah, that's what became Christianity. Messianic Judaism or Messianic Jews are a very, very small group of believers. And I understand that the size of it doesn't necessarily tell you whether it's true or not. But I don't think that, I think that what you're talking about is what later became Christianity, because they didn't originally call it that. When Jesus was supposedly here and the stories were being told, of course they weren't like, now we're Christians. It was a thing that eventually evolved over time.
Yeah, I could concede to that, because personally I think that the early church was just that, exactly, messianics meeting in home groups and small synagogues. And it's not till later additions, mixtures with paganism, and we see the influence of Rome, that Christianity starts forming into what we know it is today. And I don't think the Christian church today looks anything like it did in the time of Jesus.
Oh, I mean, just in the United States alone, the Christian church went from something that was based more in the first three gospels, and then now today it's more focused on John and what's said in the book of John.
And see, I think a bigger issue with the modern church, not to disagree with your point, but I just see it differently. I think the problem is that the church got away from the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and they have started relying more heavily on solely the writings of Paul. And Paul's wonderful. I love Paul. But if you don't have a foundation in the Gospels and the Old Testament, you can get very confused in Paul very quickly. And I think that's the result of what we see today.
Yeah, I can agree with that somewhat. I think that I think that a lot of scholars and many churches consider Paul to be the most trustworthy account of things in the Bible. Like his writings to be authentic and real, although there are some questions about forgeries and stuff within Paul's writings also, but not all of them. Um, but yeah, I think they rely a lot on Paul as well.
You think that there's speculation of forgery in Paul's writings?
Oh, there is speculation of forgery in Paul's writings.
Where precisely?
Um,
I mean,
I
I've
would have
heard.
to look at the particular. This comes from scholarly opinion, which take it with a grain of salt as far as I'm concerned. I think scholars are great for telling you like the translation and some of the historical importance of the stories that are told, but not that necessarily what their belief is. You should share it with them, right? Um, the but yeah, there's I would have to get you the references. I don't want to say off the top of my head and be wrong. But um, I do know that there are some questions about the authenticity of some of Paul's writings.
Yeah. And see, my dad was a biblical scholar, and I
Sure.
have never heard that ever. I know that it is questioned some of the authorships of particular books that they accredit to Paul, like the book of Hebrews. And then there's other books that Paul writes, but you can tell it's Paul's theology, but most likely written by Luke, because it has a lot of verbiage from Luke, which would have made sense if they were acquainted. But I've never ever heard that it was speculated any of Paul's writings were plagiarism
Forgery, not plagiarized.
or even forged.
Yeah.
Never heard
Um,
that.
I'll get that for you when we get off here, and I'll send you a message or something on Facebook of where I got it from, because I don't want to, especially with other people watching, I don't want to guess at it and be wrong and then have to have that whole argument.
No, yeah, true. So deconversion, that started for you based off of one book talking about the creation narrative from all the religions?
Well, no, actually, at first, so that's when I started getting some questions about, what, uh, who it was written by, and whether we should trust that. Now, once I started going to school and I learned some stuff about evolution specifically, um, that's whenever I didn't go trying to disprove Christianity. I was a believer. My first thing was I went and tried to find things that confirmed my faith. And then the second thing that happened is that when I wasn't really able to do that so much, I then considered, well, the Bible was written by men, and maybe they explain things incorrectly and stuff, but that doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that Jesus wasn't real. It just means that the writings are old and written in a way that maybe I'm not understanding. I tried to confirm my faith before I ever stopped believing.
Hmm. It's interesting because the same journey you took, I took, and it brought me deeper into the faith.
I,
So,
I've heard that before.
yeah, yeah. So, no, like, I believe you. You have no reason to lie to me, but it's just, it baffles me how two people from the same faith can take a similar journey and end up at totally different destinations.
I grew up in the Southern Baptist denomination and went to church. I went to youth group every week and went to church on Sundays every week, and did a lot of other extracurricular activities and stuff with the church. I very much believed it all was true. Now, whether I was a good Christian and all that stuff, I was saved and baptized and all that stuff. and I believed, and I would even tell you that at times I believed that I felt the presence of God, that I, that I got that feeling you get in church from it and stuff. But I think that there's natural explanations for that.
Have you ever had that same feeling that you described as the presence of God with something else? Like, have you ever had that feeling, that exact feeling? Because I know what you're talking about. Like, it's indistinguishable. You can't hide it. So, have you ever felt that over a woman or a good meal or your football team winning? Like, ever?
I mean, I would say I felt like that endorphin rush feeling from other things. I, the thing with like spirituality though is it's this intangible thing. So it makes it whenever you feel that way about that particular thing, you feel like you have made it a tangible thing, right? So I think it's kind of unique in that aspect, but yeah, I've felt endorphin rushes for other stuff.
And see, I mean, I don't think it's the same. I don't think that feeling you have of the presence of God is the same as an endorphin rush, right? Because for a long time, I was obsessed with college football. Like the Florida Gators were my second religion. I even referred to Tim Tebow as the god of college football. But
Yeah.
even in our best victories, in the biggest moment of excitement, with all the endorphins rushing, I never felt anything about football the way I did in a simple praise and worship service.
I don't think at the time as a believer I would describe them as the same, but now looking back on it, I do, I guess.
You guess?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, because I'm guessing at whether at the time I would describe it that way. Like when I believed, I would probably describe it the same way you did, as something unique that I didn't feel for anything else. But now looking back at it, I can see the similarities between that and other things I've felt passionate or had that rush feeling about. So
Huh. You ever had a prayer answered or witnessed a miracle?
um, I don't know that anyone can say that that's either of those has happened for sure.
Oh, no, I would definitely disagree. I've observed miracles and had prayers answered, and often had prayers answered in very specific ways that I posed it in such a way that the answer came about and only could be God. But you've never experienced that?
No,
Huh.
no. I mean, I've experienced praying for things, or praying about things, and then having something happen within those things. But again, I don't think that I could then say that those things could not have happened absent God. Uh,
Huh. Okay. Man, and how old were you when you got out of the church? You were around 20,
25.
25. Man. So when you started getting into school and getting into evolution, did that start you questioning elements of the Bible, like starting in Genesis? Like, okay, maybe Genesis is just allegory. Like, did you have to start making concessions to get where you're at now?
Well, it started really with the things that if I was taking a literal view of the Bible, then I guess sure, but it was more just the things that I had been taught in church that weren't necessarily laid out in the Bible. They were the implications of what the Bible says. And so I did and it's not, again, it's not just that evolution just up and changed my mind. There's many different things that over the course of this time that as I looked into these different things, then I was like, well, at least the young earth creationist thing I was taught growing up, I know for certain that those things and science can't be true. And so which one should I trust? And so I was able to accept the science and still believe, but the first thing to go was the young earth creationist view. And then it was later that I eventually just came to terms that I don't believe this stuff is true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why Kent Hovind is so dogmatic about defending creationism, because it really does start there. A lot of believers have walked away from the faith because of creationism, misunderstanding creationism, or not having a good answer for when people challenge your belief in creationism. And that's why I do think Kent's work is so important, because you're a prime example. No offense,
Yeah,
of as soon as you start questioning Genesis, it's a domino effect.
yeah. So I think that I, I think that the specifically like the young earth creationist position to where we're going to say the earth was, and let me say what I mean when I say that, like, and you put this in your opening to the channel, so I know that you agree with this definition. But the earth was created in a special creation event less than 10,000 years ago, and man was created in that event. uh, I I found problems with that, and at the time, you're right, there wasn't really an apologetics for creation stuff. That wasn't really. I mean, it did exist. The ICR was founded in what, 1972.
It was still newish, yeah,
Yeah,
far and
but
few
it
in
wasn't
between.
mainstream. I thought
Correct.
all Christians believed the same thing I did too. By the way,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, not so, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, but there was just a series of things that came up, and I had to eventually get to the point to where, like, it first started with me taking the position of, well, I can't say for certain these things are true. And then it's like, well, I know some of these things cannot be true based on these other things. And at least with some of this scientific stuff, not everything, but a lot of this science, I can confirm it by going through the same methodology, by reading papers that have been reviewed by other scientists who came to the same conclusions. So the support for that, um, and the lack of support for some of the claims of young Earth creationism together is what eventually led me to that. It's not any one particular thing.
I just see it totally counter, though. Like when I read through a book of the Bible for theological reasons, I can get all of my theological answers that I'm looking for from that particular book. I don't need any assumptions. But it seems that every scientific journal and article that comes out, in every mainstream view, even evolution, Darwinism, they all take assumptions. So you don't ever have all the answers. It's like you traded the religion of answers for the religion of the unknown. Do you ever feel that way?
I mean, I feel that way about things now too. I wouldn't say that I have all the answers to evolution or anything. I think there's things I still question about even that position. But I do
Like
see
what?
it as much
That
more well supported.
what parts of evolution or Darwinism do you doubt? That's interesting.
Um, well, it's not so much that I doubt it; it's that I just don't have all the information there. And I mean that's really just a. I take responsibility for that though.
Sure.
That I just haven't studied it or haven't understood it or haven't asked people who are experts. Um, you know the questions that I should be asking.
Hmm. Yeah, for me, a big red flag for evolution, especially Darwinism, is the lack of transitional fossils. And I'm just really focusing in on the lack of transitional fossils for the human evolutionary tree. Like they're just not there. We would need thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of more intermediate fossils that we don't have. We have the older ones and we have the newer ones, but we don't have any of the ones that are like really important that connect the dots.
I think I would disagree with that. I think that there are tons of hominid fossils for various different species of humans. Now, are you talking between those species of humans and like apes, between those species of humans.
Okay, so which species would you identify as the first human type species like us?
Oh boy. Well, here's the problem with that. So I think like I think that first of all, in cladistics, you don't outgrow your clade. So the like we are still apes. We never stopped being apes. So whenever you look at like Homo africensis, uh, that's a very I would say that's more similar to apes than it is to modern humans. But then whenever you get into the uh, uh, you get into like the Neanderthals; those are obviously closer to Homo sapiens than to apes. So all those things in between that, you see changes of how they started to walk more upright, of how they started to be less arboreal, of how they grew socially. I mean, those things are in the fossil record, and they may not be convincing to you as transitional fossils, but I would argue that all fossils are transitional fossils.
Hmm. Okay. Phantom, you are in the house. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
What's
Hey, I
up,
woke up
Phantom?
this morning.
Well,
What do you
good.
got going on?
Oh, not much. I just thought I thought you guys were having an interesting conversation. Thought I'd drop in, and if there's anything I can add, chip in.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. We were just dissecting Joe's apostatism.
Yeah, I heard that. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's staying civil, so that's nice. It's a lot more productive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't. Many atheists view, especially young Earth creationism. There's a lot of atheists that kind of view it as a joke and don't think it's worth the time to even address, and then there's others that call it irrational and say that it's a silly thing to believe. And I don't hold either of those positions. I think that whenever you include things like indoctrination and stuff and I'm not using indoctrination as some negative word. I mean, it's a thing that happens. But I think whenever you include things like indoctrination, that young Earth creationism or creationism in general is like a rational conclusion to come to.
And see, again, I would see it different. I do believe that there's some severe indoctrination, but I think it's on your guys' side. And the reason I say that is because as a young Earth creationist, I can't tell you how frustrating it is to put on a cartoon for my son about dinosaurs, which he loves as much as I do, and hear 60 million years ago. I can't go to the store to get my son a dinosaur t shirt without a big font on the front 60 million years ago. So I would have to say that we're not the ones guilty of indoctrination.
Well, that's not indoctrination, first of all,
It
because
is, though, because it's
well,
false information.
no, that's not what indoctrination means. Indoctrination is doesn't have anything to do with it being false. It's just whenever you are taught something and you're taught that it's the truth and not to question it. Um,
Right. So when you have
and
to
the
learn it in public school as a young child, and then it's on your cartoons when you go home, and it's all plastered over your clothing, you still can't concede that that's indoctrination?
Well, you're never the main point of indoctrination is that it's not supposed to be questioned, and I don't think that that applies to those things. You can question them all you like; they are supported by this science, and if you question them, you'll be sent to look at that science that supports it. So, skepticism can't be indoctrination. I don't think. Maybe it can, but I don't think being a skeptic, because I consider myself a skeptic, not on this, but on many, many things. So I don't think that you can be a skeptic and be indoctrinated at the same time. But again, I guess I wouldn't want to speak in absolutes about it either, though.
I would say one other difference is the openness to revision, and I know Stephen will have his contention with that point, but the fact that the theory is open to revision, it keeps it from being indoctrination.
Yeah.
But that's kind of part of my problem. So, Phantom, you weren't far off. So, you're saying that the benefit of your side is that you guys can adapt to new information, but I see that as a negative side because you're teaching these children from a very young age these principles of evolution and teaching them that these are resolute facts that are unchangeable, except they change like every 5 or 10 years. I can't tell you how many times the science textbooks have been updated.
I mean, they might do that just to be simplified for for younger children, but no, like I would say at least by the college level, nobody who's being a scientist is going to say this is an absolute fact. They're going to say this is the best we know right now, and if new data comes in, we might change this position.
But
I want
see,
to address that too.
but I take issue with that, and then I'll let you go, Joe, because
Okay.
I don't think my tax dollars should go to promote theories and hypotheses that even the scientists acknowledge will probably change in a few years. That sounds like a waste of money when my kids could be learning math in real science.
Well, that is
So,
real science. Sorry, Joe. You said you wanted something to say. Go ahead.
so um, I'm going to try not to respond to what you just said, but the I think that the scientific theory is the gold standard in science, and um, that just means that the thing you are talking about has been examined, corroborated, and is supported by well substantiated facts. So I would disagree that with the idea that you're putting to theory, but also science doesn't just turn around and say, "Well, we're wrong about that thing. Here's a whole new thing." Instead, it refines the ideas, and I think what Phantom was pointing to is the absence of the ability to do that within religious belief. You have a book, you have doctrine and dogma that tells you exactly what it is, and to say it's anything different can be considered heresy and blasphemy and everything else. So
And
the
has.
idea that one more sentence and I'll be done.
Sorry.
But the idea that science refining its ideas and giving a better picture of it as technology and information increases, I don't think is a negative thing.
I mean, we did just add like 7 billion years onto the time frame though, right? Like just recently.
Not that I know of, but I didn't keep
Nah,
up
No,
with
because it
astrophysics.
went from 7 billion to now I think the consensus is 14 billion.
the
It's been 13 point whatever billion for a very
13.8.
yeah. Well, they keep refining that number, but it's still been 13 something billion for a very long time.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know, guys. It just your side does not have enough answers. It changes too frequently. I know my scripture is never going to change. So the narrative that we present today in young earth creationism for the start of life as we know it has been the same for 6,000 plus years of recorded history. Your guys' changes so often, it's not stable.
Do you know
Right.
the difference between an answer and a claim?
Sure.
So I don't. I think that the Bible and the Christian religion and other religions too. I think they make a lot of claims about the workings of the world and stuff. But first of all, they're not science books. Whenever we talk about answers to things in science, like Phantom said, first of all, we're not dealing in absolutes. We're talking about what's more supported. What is the most supported hypothesis here? And I think that the without support, that's when you're just making a claim. And I think that's the Bible makes a lot of claims that it doesn't support, whereas the claims in science are answers because they are supported with evidence and facts.
So Stephen, you said you're looking for stability in your worldview, right?
No, I have the stability. I'm just saying that the
But
other side is so unstable, it's not even an option.
okay, but like you realize there are religions that are older than yours that have stayed stable as well, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Now,
so
when you
why
evaluate, because when you evaluate their own text against them, they always crumble. But You guys have not been able to do that with the Christian Bible in what, 1,000 years now?
I disagree completely.
I would too, but
Well, but see,
There
you
are
can't
false things in
disagree.
the Christian Bible.
There's not, though. Anything you could present to me as false, I could easily explain to you. And if you
well,
guys were able to poke holes in the Christian Bible in that amount of time, Achilles and I would not be up here today as Christians.
well, that's the difference. Like, you can anybody can come up with an explanation for discrepancies. Like, that's not a unique thing to you. You say the Hindu Bible falls apart, but you know what? I would bet that the Hindus, the ones who actually believe it and have studied it, have explanations for those where it crumbles that you've found.
I mean, I guess that's a valid point. Sure, I'll accept that.
So,
But I will say there's an interesting point, though. Any atheist I've ever seen online doing, I don't want to say apologetics, but defending the position of evolution and science versus the Bible, they always go after Christians. I've never seen atheists go on a Hindu channel. I've never seen you guys go on a Buddhist channel. I've never seen you go on a Muslim channel.
I've
You
debated
always,
Muslims.
you're maybe the exception to the rule. But what about Taoism and Hinduism and Buddhism? You guys never go attack those religions. It's always the Christian faith, because in your hearts, you know that the Christian faith is at the top of the pyramid, and that's the notch you have to take down to replace it.
No.
no, it's not really that.
Then
I mean,
why aren't you guys on a Hindu channel tonight?
because
Because
I
I
speak
grew up in
English.
young Earth creationism.
Well, that
Hindus speak English too. That's kind of racist.
Well, I'm not saying they don't, but I don't. That you would agree that there's more people who speak Christians who speak English than Hindus, right?
I don't even know if I could say that. Probably. I'd say probably yes. Sure.
Okay, and also, like, I don't encounter Hindus very often. I can't encounter Christians. So, and I grew up in Christianity, so like, I wouldn't want to go up against a Hindu because I don't really know their faith very well. I've never studied it. I grew up in Christianity, so I do know Christianity.
Yeah, but I would have to counter because, to be honest, speaking with both of you guys and hearing about the inconsistencies you both believe exist, I don't think either one of you know Christianity very well. I think you may know some of our dogmas like creationism, but I don't think either one of you know Christianity.
I bet you that I could tell you those explanations. I bet you I know those explanations, if not as well, almost as well as you do. But I don't believe those explanations. I don't think they hold water, just because I know them.
I mean, I welcome any discrepancy you guys can think of at the top of your head, any immoral objection. I welcome it.
I mean, to me, it was never about discrepancies anyway. That's not why I deconverted, but that's neither here nor there.
So have you ever seen the website? It's I think the actual name of the website is lyingforjesus.org.
I
But
have not.
the thing that this has is it has an interactive list of Bible contradictions, and you can click on the contradiction, and then it'll show you the two verses that contradict each other, and then gives you a breakdown of how they contradict each other. I don't think that every contradiction listed there is valid. I think there are a lot of valid contradictions listed there, but just for example, there is you can make claims of things being true, like the Exodus, for example. There's no record of there ever being 2 million Jewish slaves in Egypt. There's no
We have
record.
found the location. What are you talking about? Not
No,
only
that's
have
not
we found
accepted by
no,
scholars, archaeologists,
not only have we
or anyone
found
other than believers.
not only have we found the pillars of Solomon that he erected as the markers, we found the fused sand on the beach where we would expect to find it with the pillar
No,
of
it was in the
fire
wrong
crossing
place.
over. It was not in the wrong place.
Yes, it was. They
I
went
don't
out
know
of the
who
way to
told
find
you.
it.
No, sir. And it's also the only place along the entire beach that could hold 2 million Hebrew Israelites.
So here's the problem with those claims. Okay, the thing of it is that whenever you go ahead and say, okay, well, 2 million Jews left out of there, we know that happened, so let's figure out how it worked, and that's kind of the wrong approach, because there's no evidence of that thing happening, but there is a lot of post hoc rationalization. And that site on the beach that you're talking about, it was some 30 miles away from where the maps that the church used said it
Oh
was.
no, you're talking about originally the speculated location, but that location was disproven long before the likes of Ron Wyatt ever came onto the scene. So we were already looking for the actual crossing site, and we have found it. They've even found chariot wheels at the bottom of this precise location where they happen to have also found the fused sand, and also found on either side of the crossing the pillars erected by Solomon. So I mean, you can discard that evidence, but at this point you're like not wanting to believe,
No, no, it's
or
not that I'm
purposely closing yourself off from being open.
it's not that I'm discarding your evidence. It's that I don't see your evidence as sufficient to make the claim that you're making. Is my issue with it. It's
What
not that
else would you need from the Red Sea crossing site to solidify it? Do you need like a sign in the ground that says Moses was here plus 2 million? Like, is
uh,
that what you're looking for?
some historical record of it outside of the Bible would first be good. But also again, it's finding an area that fits your narrative somewhat, rather than actually evidence that that thing happened there. If there were 2 million people moving across this route, we would find not only graves and bodies and all kinds of things left behind. I mean, there would be a huge trail everywhere they went. That many people is going to leave signs that's going to persist through history.
And you
And
think would last 3,000 years?
not just that, whoever went looking.
Oh, yeah, valid point. Also, Achilles, who went searching for it.
Only Ron Wyatt did, and
That's not true.
Well, the original archaeologists were using the Bible as their guideline. Like they
Yeah.
were saying, "Hey, this Bible says this happened at this place. Let's go check it out." And when they dug it up, the place up, they couldn't find anything. And they're like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, one problem with that is the names of locations. For instance, for the longest time, they've tried to put the Exodus in with Pharaoh Ramses, and that is an incorrect time frame. And the reason they get that is because one of the cities in the Bible is referred to in the story as the city of Ramses. And that's because much further on, when the Bible is being scribed down, it was at that point known as the city of Ramses, but it was not at the time of Moses or Moshe in the Hebrew. So that causes confusion.
Does the Bible not reference Ramses directly by name?
I don't think no,
No,
I
it
think
does not.
it's just always called
Okay.
Pharaoh.
Okay.
It mentions a city of Ramses, which is why
Yeah.
atheists and Egyptologists are always trying to put the Exodus in the dynasty of Ramses, but that's incorrect. He most likely was during the time of Thutmose the third or second.
Yeah. So why do the Egyptians have no record of having those Hebrew slaves?
Well, they do have records of Semonite people, and they even have records of Semonite people in the land of Goshen, which is exactly where the Bible refers
It's
to it.
Right.
just it let's correct this. It's not Semonite, it's Semite.
Got you. Does that help you sleep at night, Phantom?
Well, I just don't want to be thinking people are thinking you're equating them with bodily fluids.
No, far from it. And as someone who's half Hebrew, I don't care if someone's offended by it personally.
Okay.
And weren't you accusing Hindus of not speaking English earlier?
Yeah, Semite's an English word.
Gotcha. Okay.
So also about these other religions that you mentioned earlier, like I spend time on this. It's not just my experience with it. It's also that the I I am, like I said, I am a skeptic. So with all these other religions, I have the exact same questions that I have for you. Is number one, why do you believe this is true, and why do you think I should believe it is true? And then whenever we talk about sources, then I'm going to say, why should we believe that's true? I mean, I take that skeptical view to all things, not just Christianity.
I can respond to this.
Go ahead.
First off, to say, unless there's something on your mind, Philip.
No, go ahead.
First off, much appreciated If I can hear my voice. There's an echo. Right, fix it.
I
Right,
think
Joe.
Joe's echoing you somehow.
Yeah. First off, much appreciated that you are using the same logic on other religions too. Um, uh, but personally, the way I arrived to Christianity is because there was a prophecy in it, which was saying that if I accept that Jesus was raised from the dead, and I end up confessing it, it doesn't say end up. If I confess it with my mouth, then I will be saved, which is a term that a lot of people don't understand, and they're not just atheists. There are people in church that they don't understand the term saved. It means to be reborn, and to understand what that is, you need to understand the discussion between Jesus and Nicodemus. What's funny about this is that I had never opened the Bible at all. But at some point in my life, some things happened, and I ended up asking myself whether the possibility, which is completely out of my spectrum, like I don't even take it for reality at all. What if it was reality? What if it's true? I wasn't back there 2000 years ago. Is there any chance that this could have happened? So when it started getting rooted in my heart that there is a chance that it did, um, it was a very coincidental time that I ended up fighting about this on a public forum. So I confessed with my mouth what I was beginning to believe. I'm trying to put it as plain as it was without complicating it further. So then I started getting transformed. And at some point, that verse, somebody showed it to me. And I started realizing that that prophecy came true with me. That was just the beginning of my journey. And then one transformation kept coming after the next. So I didn't arrive to the Bible by believing all its claims. I arrived to it by personally accepting the big claim that it makes. And it promises that if you do and you examine it honestly in your heart, things will start changing once you confess what you are beginning to believe. And it happened. So then I turned around and I picked up a Bible and I opened it up and I said, wait a minute, this came true. So what else might have happened? And the person you have met these years that you've met me, both of you guys, he didn't exist in 2016 at all. I spent 30 years of my life having no idea about what the Bible says.
Well, that's called post hoc rationalization, though. You
It, it,
you you had things that happened in your life, and then whenever you compared those things to in the Bible, the things that had already happened, you felt that that explained those things. Absent the Bible, though, nobody would believe in Jesus or any of that stuff. That's
it would have been the case if it wasn't for the evidence of a complete transformation of the self. Now,
sure,
I cannot present that evidence to you because you're not within me, right?
sure.
But what I can show you is if you go to my channel, which is Achilles 7, you will see that there comes a moment in 2016 where the channel completely changes. Completely. It kept uploading riding videos, racing videos, and then all of a sudden it just completely transforms and starts talking about God. Hello, brother Daniel. So
Hey,
Hey.
Daniel.
so then I got to know John 3:16, and I was like, wait a minute, if God exists, he actually said that if I do what I just did, this is what would happen, and it did. So I did not arrive. I understand your new approach to my response, but your previous approach was that somehow we believed all the claims of the Bible first, like we believed in an Adam and Eve first, and that's why we're here discussing it. That's not how it started. So I'm addressing that approach
Right on.
for now.
So, Achilles, about your story, do you think that kind of transformative experience, so like that, I don't know, aha moment, do you think that's unique to Christianity, or can that happen for other reasons besides just Christianity?
Yeah, it is unique.
Okay.
And it doesn't relate to anything because you called it aha moment. An aha moment relates to you. You had a realization and you changed because of the realization. I'm talking about a complete death of anything I cared for. And then immediately waking up in a bit of a process. It was months, but I started only caring to preach what happened to me, to tell the world about it, like I was in love. Like when you are in love, you want to go and shout it out from the top of the mountain. And the more I did that, the more I was confessing the truth and the more I was reading. So then it becomes a whole process. So that's how the process started from me. Nobody got me into it, right? No mother, no book, no preacher, nobody. It was an inside transformation. And Daniel is in the house and he had the same transformation. And we watched it. It was live. He was about to die on a stream on YouTube, and he came back a completely transformed person. And I'll pass the mic to him. Hello, brother.
Oh, hi. Well, yeah, well,
Nice haircut.
yeah, for me, I was a deep alcoholic and occultist, and I tried a lot of other ways to give up alcohol. None of them would work. And then a friend told me about the inexhaustible cup icon, which has Jesus Christ at the chalice with his mother behind him. And I was afraid to ask Jesus for anything because I was such a sinner and I told lies about him. So I asked his mother to pray for me to her son. And yeah, God cured me of alcoholism. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, how's it going, everybody?
It's going pretty well
Got,
for me.
got you in the deep immediately, Daniel.
Yeah.
Nice haircut, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It was about time I lopped that off, I guess. A lot of people said I didn't look too good on me, but yeah.
Yeah,
Have you made it?
Can I respond to both of those?
one of the things, yes, well, 1 second. One of the things I lost is caring for what just Daniel just said, what people would think about, let's say, my hair. I no longer care about what people think of me at all. Like I used to. Now I don't. So go ahead, Joe.
So I'm not trying to discount your personal experience with these things, but uh, as as some kind of vehicle to then turn around and claim that the things of the Bible are true is very much a non sequitur. Um, I mean, perfectly fine that you believe it, and congratulations for getting off alcohol. I've been in recovery from heroin use for over 10 years now, so I understand addiction and how awful that is. But I just don't know that those speak to the truth of the claims. I get that they explain why you feel that way, but
Yeah,
that's where it stops.
I get that. So you can take from our discussion here that you have two people witnessing about this, that it was not from themselves that it happened. It came from outside. So there is an outside that we're trying to get you guys to examine. Like
You
Three
haven't provided
witnesses.
that though.
three. I'm sorry.
You've only given a reason that you believe it, not that you haven't given anything that says that it was anything other than yourself. In fact, what you've said points more to it was your personal feelings on it rather than anything else.
I don't know if you are hearing me or if I'm not. I'm the one that didn't express it right, and I don't want to monopolize the airtime here. Um, but the whole thing started from a seed of thought and I started accepting it within me. And then because some things were happening on a public forum concerning the racing industry, I was a racer, and you know that we discussed it the other day. What happened was, and here it is, Daniel. I'm not sure I've ever told you that. Um, I was one of the racers in Greece that I was going abroad to the hardest enduro events, and I've broken many bones. And I had picked up fame because whatever I did, I was picking up a camera, and I was then coming back with pages describing the experience, the problems. My intention was to teach the next generation and not just, you know, uh, do it for myself, but do it for the next generations. So I picked up a fan base. And at some point in 2015, in order to continue doing what I was doing, instead of giving me, I had to renew my license, my racing license, and they gave me an RFID card for a license. So I made a public statement, which was that I am an Orthodox Christian, and you do not give an Orthodox Christian RFID cards to continue their dreams, because I quit racing today. And I quit racing because of this. I had no idea that what I was doing there was confessing with my mouth, becoming a witness for the gospel. I didn't know that. So I go to bed getting all pissed off about the racing industry. I wake up the next day and I have 10 atheist racers talking about how God isn't real. So I started apologetics without even knowing that I'm doing this, without even knowing that the field existed. So I started giving them like questions like, okay, then how did that happen? We went into the Big Bang. So this went for 50 pages, and there were thousands of Greeks that were following that discussion. That process gave me a new heart, completely transformed me. And then I read the Bible that says, if you accept that Jesus Christ was raised from the dead and you confess it with your mouth, you will be saved. So it's not a non sequitur. I mean, that's what happened. I got completely transformed because the Bible verse came true. It was a prophecy, and it's a prophecy about everyone. So, you see, I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. I'm just explaining that it's not what you called it. And so I had to give you more info.
I,
Sure.
I, I'm gonna say one thing, and I got to step out because I got to put my kid to bed for school tomorrow. But the first of all, correlation is not causation, and what you've done there is you've taken your own personal experiences, and then whenever you found something that gave you an explanation for those experiences, then you've correlated with those things, and then the non sequitur is then suggesting that the rest of it is true because of that thing. That's what I'm pointing to as the non sequitur. But you've correlated yourself with it and then decided that it's true based on that, and that very much is personal experience and has nothing to do with anything external other than you correlated your personal feelings with those of the Bible.
Okay, but every salvation is a personal experience to the person getting saved.
Sure.
So this could never be good enough of proof for you.
Well, you're not describing that though either. You're
Well,
describing prior to being saved that you felt a certain way, and then whenever you looked at the Bible, it confirmed the way that you felt. So it must have been true as to why you felt that way. And then you've lumped the other things in as saying those things are true too because it explained that. When that's where I called it a non sequitur.
But Joe, sorry. Earlier when we were talking, you mentioned that you had one of those Holy Spirit moments or several while you were still in the church and that you could feel it was God. And then you said you were not able to confirm if you had ever had a dopamine hit like that ever again afterwards. You just weren't sure.
Well,
I'm
I've had that rush, but I couldn't say that it was exactly the same experience because you're talking about different things. And by the way, religious experience, as far as the body is physically concerned, is it is essentially the same thing as using drugs or any other dopamine hit. When measured physically, it's the same. Now, if you say there's something other than the physical part, then of course I have no way to assess that other than I don't believe that that's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same level of dopamine hit because I was a huge drug addict. I've dampered in meth, heroin. I snorted as many pain pills up my nose as I could find, and I was always chasing that hit that I used to get when I was active in church. It's not the same hit. It's the absence of that Holy Spirit connection.
Well, that's why I said that I couldn't necessarily say it was exactly the same, because while it does feel different on a physical level, it is the same. Now, whether it feels the same to you or not is a different question altogether, and then we get into personal experience again.
Well, if it is the same, why wouldn't it feel the same? Like if you slap me and then slap
Be-
Achilles, it's going to hurt both of us
well,
equally.
so it depends on what is priming that feeling is why it's not the same. They've done a number of studies both on a large scale through sociology and individual scales on psychology, where they have compared these two things and looked at the brain as it experiences these things. And on a physical level, it's the same thing, but it's what prompts that. And even with the morality question, they've done a number of studies through the morality lab at Boston College, where they depending on what kind of thing they primed the individual with, they could get different answers about their moral standing, whether they objectified morality or seen it as subjective, or relative plurality seems to be the main finding. But yeah, so but as far as on like a physical level, measurements, what they can measure, they are the same.
So, with Dan's comment here, why is what I've experienced the exact same experience that Chinese are having and Buddhists are having, and they are becoming then Christian. And then they're reading their Bible because they weren't reading it before.
Does that speak to the truth of any of the claims of Christianity?
The other claims, not only we can discuss them later because you are questioning the premise that brought me to it. You know, the claims are come next. And there are
Right.
Christians
No,
and
I understand
Christians,
that.
yeah, and there are Christians and Christians that they don't see the world the way, for example, I do,
But
a 6-day creation, right?
we can't keep the conversation about whether it's true or not within your own personal experience, though, because that tells us nothing. So that's why I keep deferring to does it speak to the truth of those claims, because I can't assess your personal experience other than,
I agree. I agree.
yeah, so
That's why I brought in that this experience is getting experienced by other civilizations, even Muslims, and they're becoming Christian.
why do you think you as a non-believer had that experience, but me, who was raised as a believer for 25 years, didn't have that experience?
I actually was raised in an Orthodox country, so it is kind of hard to not see a God.
Well,
Yeah.
hold
And
on a
then
second, Achilles.
and then the country here has this Orthodox Church, which, all right, go ahead, Father. So I was never an atheist. I always felt there was a God,
Sure.
but yeah, go ahead, Father.
Well, because earlier you said you didn't know anything about the Bible.
That is a different. There is a difference here. I was
Okay,
never an atheist, but I had never opened the Bible. Yes.
okay, but you had been in a society a culture that has you did know some things about the Bible from just being in that steeped in that culture, right?
Um, which I didn't accept, to be honest.
Okay. I'm not
Right.
saying you were aware of the concepts. Some of the concepts is what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
you weren't
but even back then, for me, it looked like Christianity was created by men instead of the other way around. So the Orthodox priests are such a bad example that they turn people atheist. They're like, if you are the people of God, then I'd rather be of Satan, you know. So I was looking away
Good thing
from.
Daniel's not here.
He dropped out. His
Yeah.
screen froze, and I don't know what happened. Hello,
Yeah.
Robin. Oh, you
Um,
said good thing he's not here.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're talking about the Orthodox being.
Yeah, but for example, we started this stream today, and we showed an Orthodox priest in Russia that has the foot of a dead saint, the actual foot, and he's dipping it in water, which is a very disgusting sin. And then people rush to pick up from that water and call it holy. I call it contaminated. I don't call that holy water. So, as a child, seeing things like that, you're like, yeah, I don't want to be part of that. And that didn't change. After getting saved, I'm still bringing up the issues that Orthodoxy has. And I think it's convincing other children, like I was, that it's a religion made by men, which is a completely false.
Sure.
So I'm still against them. So I did have an understanding of what they're saying about the Bible, but I had never opened it.
Okay.
I do have to say, we are at the 2-hour mark on the dot, just 2 minutes over, actually, to be precise. And I promised my wife a 2-hour limit tonight. So we have two choices, Achilles. We can either end this as a group thing and say our farewells, or if you're wanting to continue engaging, I will not pull a Steven and just leave you, but I do have to go.
Let's let Robin say hi and say what she wants about what we were discussing, and yes, we're gonna end it as a group.
Hello. Yeah, I didn't know y'all was getting close up. I didn't even know this was going on. I've been
Hi, Robin.
asleep. Hey. And I can't tell what that avatar is. Is that the same thing or the avatar of Stevens?
Whose?
Mine.
No,
No,
it's your dialysis, huh?
Not dilated.
Dilated, got you. Okay. No, but it's a tree. It's a tree of life and death behind someone pondering.
Okay. I don't know why that came up there. I don't know. But okay, well I didn't know y'all was getting close. I'm
But
glad y'all was having this good conversation.
It's
I
the
kind of
dialysis from the Seminites, right, Phantom?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I went to the eye doctor today, and I got not very good news. But
Oh,
I'm not seeing very good today because they did a bunch of testing on my eyes and stuff.
Oh, I hate that, Robin. I'm
Thanks,
so
Dan.
sorry.
Well, I have
I,
macular, and like it causes bleeding in the back of the eye, and the left eye had been doing pretty good for a couple of years, but it started bleeding again. So I've got to get shots in it again.
Oh, man. Oh, Robin, I'm so sorry. I'm definitely going to pray for you, and you also are in our thoughts.
Well, thank you. But
amen. Likewise.
y'all better get busy doing whatever y'all need to do. And
yeah. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me on, guys.
Yeah, anytime,
Um,
Phantom. And
guys,
our
wait
thing
up, wait
with
up.
Joe is Saturday?
Next Saturday, not this one coming up.
Okay, got you. Yep.
What's
I'll
happening
I'll
next
get with
Saturday?
you on Facebook and send you a message, and we can work out all the details.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Steven, you got permission to leave. I'll stick around with our friends just for the sake of Robin that just joined, so we don't end it yet.
Well, I'm leaving right now too, anyway. So
Okay, he didn't even allow me to complete the sentence. Like a child, when you tell him you have permission to leave, boom, out.
well, hi, Joe.
hi.
Take
I
care,
was
Joe. Nice having you, man.
I was shocked when I come on and you were on there. I was like, wow, what's going on?
Yeah, me too.
Well, I think we had a great conversation, and everybody was friendly and calm, and we had a great talk. I'm pleased with it. I look forward to next Saturday getting to sit down and go into some of these things in a little more depth. Uh, but I do appreciate you having me on and listening to what I have to say, and yeah, we'll talk about it some more.
I'll see
Always
you
great to
tomorrow.
have you.
Is that going to be here or is that going to be in your channel, Joe?
I plan to do it on my channel, but if
Okay.
I can't multi-stream to here, but if there's some problem with that, I don't really care where we do it.
Can
But
we,
I plan to have a show next Saturday at 3 anyway, so I would like for it to be that.
Achilles,
Sure.
can we shield our show tomorrow?
I'm sorry.
I said, can we shield our show tomorrow? Me and Joe have a political show tomorrow.
Uh-huh. Okay. Me joining.
But
If
it's over on Joe's channel's Politicality. I'm not
okay.
sure if we have a
I
guest.
think
Guest,
I,
Joe?
No
I
guest tomorrow.
yeah, I think the way I'm gonna check it out for sure. I think the way the Republican side has acted in the past, I would just say years since 2016, is making a lot of. It's making me align a lot with the views of Democrats, but not all of them.
Understandable.
That
Not all.
warms my heart.
Yeah, not all of them.
My heart.
I just want you guys to know that just because somebody is a Christian, that doesn't mean he's a Republican, right?
Oh no, I know. I don't think that.
Yeah, we
Because
know that. I
a
know
lot,
plenty of Christian Democrats.
because a lot do. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you have to be Republican." No, I'm not. But I'm not a Democrat either. Thank God I'm not in the States. I wouldn't know what to vote for.
I don't identify as either one either. I think that the Democrats are the lesser of two evils, but I often speak about my problems with the way they operate as well. So um,
And that's
I
the
think
issue.
that what the Republicans are doing is they're not even playing the same game. So
And that's the issue. You don't get a third choice. You only have whatever you think is the lesser evil. You gotta
yeah,
vote for that, right?
yeah. But
Yes.
like I wouldn't have voted for Trump. I would vote against Trump though, but not necessarily for whatever Democrat. I think that Trump is the most clear and present danger to our democracy right now.
Clear and present dangers of the world.
Yeah,
I
but
said that back in 2018. What was his first term? 16, wasn't it?
2016. Yeah.
yeah,
2016. Back then, I was making videos attacking him, and I was saying how like the whole Statue of Liberty crumbles right now because people elected that guy. I mean, it was a joke once, then twice. It's no longer a joke.
No,
yeah.
definitely not funny.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for having me on, guys, and I will get
Night,
with
Joe.
you soon. Bye bye.
Good night, my
Bye.
friend. I'll check
Thanks,
your show
Joe.
tomorrow. So, your thoughts, guys?
I'm thrilled that y'all were having this good conversation and everybody's getting along. I'm thrilled.
I
Yeah.
missed a big chunk of it because
I know.
I was, I was feeding dogs. I was feeding my cat. I fed myself, and so I missed a lot of the. You're going back and forth with Stephen. I'll check it out later tomorrow.
Well, I have friends on this channel, and I have friends, of course, over there, and so I always kind of get nervous when like these two channels get together, um, because you know what I mean. Because I don't want like I don't want any fighting between us. So I mean, I'm not gonna get. I wasn't planning on getting involved in it, but I just didn't want things to get bad. So I'm glad it all worked out that way.
Opposites attract. I mean, we can agree on that science. That we can agree on.
Yeah, I'm more about shared values than shared beliefs, so that's what I prioritize.
What are your feelings for? You won't care. I mean,
What?
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself that
He's
they
trying to
won't.
decide if he wants to say something or not.
Yeah, yeah. Having an inner dialogue in here. Tell them. Don't tell them. Tell them. No, for me, it is very mind blowing that in a Christian, supposedly a Christian based nation, a Muslim mayor came up, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't we do so many wars in the name of, you know,
Well, we're not actually a Christian nation. We're a nation with a lot of Christians in it. But
yeah,
like
but the foundations.
yeah, our constitution does not. And actually, there was um, John Adams wrote a letter to the Muslims. Signed a treaty with the Muslims back in the founding of the nation. Saying that we didn't harbor any feelings against any religion. So I mean, I don't know nothing about Mondami. I don't live in New York City, so I wasn't in on that vote. But I know that we'll just have to see what happens. Because um, obviously they voted for him and they put him in office and they liked him. So
Yeah, they voted for him because it look, my take on the whole politics scene worldwide is that they're playing us. We are the sheep, right? And they are the wolves. So you have this system in the US where you can have a Republican president and then every mayor can be a Democrat, and then you get a Democrat president, and then all the mayors change and they become Republicans. So, in a sense, the system doesn't change, it never changes.
yeah, it just I mean pendulum swings. Like in the United States, the pendulum swings, and like it is swaying very far right this time with Trump and everything, and so there's going to be a backlash, and there's going to be a pendulum swing to the left, and um, unfortunately for everybody, the pendulum swang too far to the right with this past election
And
because the
science
people.
says, science says that so this is going to swing it more powerfully to the left.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Uh,
science. I mean, that's not neuroscience, but
yeah,
I'm just
that,
saying
yeah.
that the trends
Physics,
in
I mean,
America, yeah,
I mean
trends in
Well,
physics,
America
you know.
is
yeah, but
it's
po-
not an
uh,
actual pendulum though.
Yeah.
sociology doesn't. Yeah, sociology doesn't obey the laws of physics.
Yeah, it's not actually a
Yeah, but
pendulum.
because she brought that analogy of the pendulum, I'm not saying that proves that it's going to happen, but it does make sense that when you push the people, the whole thing, all the way to the right, which is not all the way to the right. I'm just saying. I
It's pretty
think.
far.
Trump is pretending to be Christian every time he holds a Bible up. It doesn't show that it's a Bible. It could be upside down because he holds it backwards. I've
But Christian and right are not synonymous. I mean, like I said, there's like most people in the United States. I mean, there are lots of it's not just a few Democrats that are Christian. There's a whole bunch of Christian Democrats.
Yeah,
But,
but the reason we are making the correlation between Republicans and Christians are some of the values of the Democrat side, which are unbiblical,
well,
right?
I mean,
This
like feeding like not feeding hungry people is definitely like a Republican. Um, that's something that the Republicans are doing and have continuously done. And racism in this country, that's where most of the racists exist. Not all Republicans are racist, but most of the racists are Republicans. And so,
I,
like, I mean, I don't know that I think that the Republicans are. And like Achilles, I'm atheist, so I don't care how biblical they are. They just need to be constitutional, and that's what I feel like that the Republicans are not right now is constitutional. So
yeah, I agree with that statement. And also with the fact that I think the Republican side is is betting on the Christian dollar,
yes, yeah,
right?
they're pandering for the votes.
Right.
Trump, like he was talking about Trump. I don't believe he's Christian. I actually would say that I'm like, I've always been under the presumption that he was an atheist. Actually,
You
not
can
that
be a
not,
Christian
and
and be
I
on
don't
the
necessarily
ethnic
think he's an
aisle.
atheist for like because he actually searched out and decided that was true. I just don't believe he ever believed in a God to begin with.
Yeah, I
But
don't think so either. Yeah.
yeah, but he's pandering for their votes. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
so they're
So
not their
in the
values are
same
not his
in this
values are not aligned with most of the people who vote for him. I will say
Well,
that.
I mean, don't you remember his favorite book of the Bible is 2 Corinthians?
Yeah. Well, they asked him what was his favorite. Okay, any Christian, like if you ask a Christian, what is the Old Testament or the New Testament, Achilles, your favorite? I mean, what
you
Christian
get
is going to say anything else except the New Testament? I mean, like,
Well, 2
he's
Corinthians is the 2 Corinthians is
I
in the New
know,
Testament.
but I
yeah.
mean, though they asked him, they said, "Do you prefer the Old Testament or the New Testament?" They asked him that, and
Oh
he
yeah, I
said
forgot about that
equal.
too.
He said equal. I mean, Jesus. If you're a Christian, the New Testament is far more important than the Old Testament. Like that's the part where Jesus comes in and does his teaching and all that, and so it didn't make any sense that you're equally like both of them. You know what I mean? Just like,
To his defense, and and this is very rare for me, that you ain't gonna see that happening. I don't defend Trump, but to his defense, my response would be you can't have one without the other.
well, that's true.
The Old
But like,
Testament had all the prophecies for the New
but you can
Testament.
have the Old Testament without the New, but you can't be a Christian without the New. I guess. You know what I mean?
Right, right. That is so true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Um,
think. I think when I was a Christian, I would have said I like the Old Testament.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's just a strange answer for me for a Christian. You know what I mean? Like because, I mean, like because you look at that as like the old, but like if under the new promise from Jesus, a lot of times people look at the Old Testament as sort of a different, you know, we
Sure.
had a new
I
covenant come in
I
with
would
Jesus.
I would have said that the New Testament is more important.
Yeah,
But if you ask me what I like the best, like what I like to read the Old Testament more than the New.
that's weird, but all right.
but to continue something that I left in the middle here is that although I agree on some especially worldwide issues, not just American issues, but worldwide issues, the Democrat side has a better view of them. I do think that the same way the Republican side is betting on the Christian dollar, the Democrat side is playing on the social dollar. I think it's
Maybe so.
exact same manipulation.
Yeah, I think they're. I mean, I'm not a big like I'm not shilling for the Democratic Party. Definitely, like I said, like he said earlier, in the United States, we just have to vote for which two we see as the smallest evil, and
Absolutely, yes.
I mean,
I bring this up for Donald. This is what I think of him.
For who?
For Donald,
Who's Donald? Oh, Trump.
yeah,
Right.
Donald.
You see, you can't have these two happening at the same time. You're one or the other. So
Yeah, I mean that's biblical. I mean not in those words, but the
yeah, definitely, definitely not. So I do think this is worldwide. This is happening worldwide. Here we have the illusion of more parties. But if you vote on the other parties, your vote is like burned because it doesn't do anything. So people vote for one of the two, left or right. But it's very interesting when the left is promising to do what the left would do, and you vote for the right, and the right does what the left agenda was. And I'm so sad to see people still not waking up to that whole deception that is taking place.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with you. It doesn't seem like anything ever gets accomplished one way or the other. Although it does seem like Trump's accomplished quite a bit, or his power structure has. But the thing is, like, for me, I can only vote for the options I'm given. I can't vote for an
Right.
option I'm not given. So like I just have to choose the worst of or the best of two evils.
Yeah.
I gave
And
up my right. I
not
gave up.
voting, though, see, not voting just leaves you stuck with
Yeah,
whichever evil the
yeah,
other
but
people voted for.
at least I didn't contribute to it because they're both, the lesser evil still works for evil.
I know, but if you, I look at it this way: if there is a greater evil, and you don't vote, then you actually did help vote for that because you didn't vote against it.
Here,
So that's the way I look at that.
I'll tell you this here because Greeks have been waking up to this, but they do see that there is no other choice. But the majority of votes goes to no vote. It is 60% of people that end up not voting.
Do y'all have mandatory voting and then or no?
Used
Mandatory
to,
voting?
yeah,
Wow.
mandatory in a sense that you couldn't leave the country if you hadn't voted that much,
Okay.
nothing more.
See, like in
Wow.
Australia, I like
But no longer,
they
no
have
longer.
they have mandatory voting. See, I think there should be mandatory voting. You don't actually have to vote though. Like, you just have to return your ballot. Um,
Huh.
I mean, you don't have to like you can leave it blank or mark no vote or whatever. You don't actually have to vote for any of the candidates, but you have to return the ballot. And
Okay.
I feel like that would be. I'm for mandatory voting. But I think that if you live in a democracy, um, and you're benefiting from all of the things that we have in like this country, that the least you can have to do is return a ballot every so often. Whether you vote or not. But I feel
So
like that the more people that are involved in our democracy, the better, the more stable and balanced and more representative our democracy will be because it will represent more people than just those who are encouraged, like motivated to get out and vote, which seems to be like the same group of people most of the time.
sure. So what happens if you don't return your ballot?
I don't know what the penalties is. I don't know, what the penalties are or whatever, and I don't think there should be big punishment for it. But I think that it should just be something that people do as like just because you live here. Like we're afforded certain rights and privileges in certain countries, and I think that we should appreciate them enough to even to at least return the ballot.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, in a way,
we
you
pay
have to.
taxes. We have to
Yeah,
pay taxes. We have to, we have to. So just go ahead and count that as something. That's not an infringement on anybody's rights to have to send in a prepaid postal card or something like that, with their ballot on it.
Let me respond to my brother here, which this is a subject that we always disagree on. Yes, God did use evil kings, but he did that to punish the people. So have fun until 2028.
I can't
Because
see it. I can't see what it even means.
he says God used evil kings and even a talking ass. Trump 2028.
Oh, come on, Dan. See, like I love Dan. Don't think I'm not talking. I'm not calling Republicans all evil. That's for sure. But like we have a constitutional amendment that says that you can only serve 2 terms, and so like
well, it doesn't say that.
Dan saying Trump 2028, he is actually like calling for a violation of the Constitution right there.
Robin, that's not what the amendment says.
What? I know
I
what
think
it says, but he
he
still
said
Okay,
it.
can't start. I mean, it does say though, like he's not eligible to run again.
You're right. He's not eligible to run again. but
Right.
but
I
you
mean,
can
I know
jump up
there's like
to
wordings like on this, that, and the other, but
yeah
it boils down to he's not allowed to run again. So if he
yeah
like supporting him to run again is actually would be a violation of the Constitution unless they amend the Constitution,
right
which takes 2/3 of both houses of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify an amendment. So
hmm
unless he can get that done in the next 3 years, um, he
yeah
will be violating the Constitution if he runs again.
yeah
And
I
so,
don't
yeah,
yeah I don't remember how long it has taken recently, but I think the last amendment took a long time. I
the
think
three
like
quarters, yeah, getting the 3/4 of the states to ratify is usually the hard part. I mean, but it still takes 2/3 of both houses of Congress, which even with a majority in both houses, 2/3 that's not 2/3, So,
oh
I mean, you have to have 2/3. You have to have 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the
yeah
Senate that will pass it. Oh,
okay
he's
so
joking. Okay, all right, Dan, I'll forgive you. I understand that you're just making a joke.
so I just looked it up. The 27th Amendment took 202 years to be ratified. I don't think that's indicative of how long it takes for most of them.
And it ain't gonna happen for Trump. I mean, you know,
No, I
he-
don't. I don't see there any path that Trump could get an amendment that would allow him to uh,
yeah,
to
he's
serve
talking.
a third term.
Yeah, he's talking about though, like having like JD Vance run, and he can run as a vice president
No, he can't.
under
He
another
can't.
person,
yeah.
The ten that
and
he
then
can't.
JD Vance resign or something. But
He said he wouldn't.
No, he can't. He can't. He's not eligible to run as vice president. One of the amendments. I think it's the 10th. Ends with if you're not eligible to run as president, you are also not eligible to run as vice president.
oh, okay.
So he it would be unconstitutional. The best he could do is like run and become Senate president of the Senate and have both the vice president and the president step down. 'Cause
No, he's not the president of the Senate is not third. The speaker of the House of Representatives is third.
okay, whichever one it is, but
Yeah.
that's the best he could do.
Yeah, Mike Johnson is third in line right now under like there's the president, the vice president, and it goes to the Speaker of the House of Representatives after that.
Oh no, okay, yeah, you're right.
And actually, Trump, the Speaker of the House, does not have to be elected, an elected official.
Oh right, I forgot about
So,
that.
actually, whoever ran for president and vice president, if they were Republicans, they could just name Trump the Speaker of the House, and that would put him in third in line to be the
Oh,
president.
speaker. I mean, that's the one thing I can't take. Whatever it is, whatever he is, please don't talk. Did you hear that thing with the magnets? The guy is obsessed with magnets, man.
Yeah.
What's this?
He keeps saying that the reason for this, the reason he's doing it, there's nothing happening randomly. The reason is because after the tariffs towards China responded with tariffs on magnets, and that's what pissed Elon Musk off some months ago because he needs the magnets for his cars.
Yeah, the rare earth metals is what it is. Rare earth metals. Yeah.
Yeah, but especially magnets. So now he has gone on the offense, Phantom, against magnets, and he's saying, why are we making such a big deal of magnets? Magnets, they're useless if you put water on them. There's no more magnet. It just stops working.
You can tell
And
Trump
that's
failed.
not true, Donald. That's
Yeah,
not
magnets work in water.
I was going to say I don't think that's true. I've never tested it, but it doesn't sound right. I mean,
Dude, it's
the
hilarious.
Earth is a magnet, and there's water on Earth, so like,
It's
I don't
hilarious.
know.
It's hilarious, I'm telling you. He keeps saying it. Like wherever he goes, he talks about how magnets get destroyed if you throw water on them. I swear, he does.
I know.
Look it up.
Yes, I know. Yeah, he's definitely, he's great at like science and history. He's almost as good at history as he is science.
Yeah.
The airports,
Now-
like George Washington protected
hold on,
his
hold on a
airports
second.
in the Revolutionary War.
Hold on a second, guys. perhaps he's talking about electromagnets, because I could see electromagnets being messed up by water.
But that would not be the magnet. You're right. It would be the circuit board, right?
He's
Right.
not. He doesn't know what electromagnets are. Come on now.
Well, no, he just knows that's a magnet, and when you put it in water, it stops working.
You would make a great apologist for Trump.
Let me show this to my friend here, because it's too hard to believe. Like he doesn't believe this is happening. Let me show you, man. Can you hear it?
No.
Okay, wait, why? Okay. I got it. I'm muting myself because now there will be an echo.
So much better. You know, they go out, hire a consultant for millions of dollars that was never on an aircraft carrier before. So they switched to electric. I disagree with it, but it's all right. Let me ask you. We're going to go steam first and then electric. Catapults. Which is better? Electric or steam? I'm going to put it in order. Seriously. They're spending billions of dollars to build stupid electric. And the problem, when it breaks, you have to send up to MIT, get the most brilliant people in the world, fly them out. It's ridiculous. The steam, they said they can fix it with a hammer and a blowtorch. And it works just as well, if not better. And I love the sight of that beautiful steam pouring off that deck with the electric. You don't have that. So, you know, we did the Ford in electric, the cost overruns, everything else. But, you know, I hope it's going to be okay. But I like steam. We're going to go back to steam. They change just for the sake of changing. I said to the architect, have you ever designed a ship before? You know, he only did the biggest ship in the world, right? The Ford. But we're going to go back. Okay, now let me ask you the second question. Hydraulic for your elevators or magnets? You know, the new thing is magnets. So instead of using hydraulic, that you can be hit by lightning and it's fine. You take a little glass of water and you drop it on magnets. I don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, the elevators come up in the new carriers. I think I'm going to change it, by the way. They have magnets. Not every tractor has hydraulic. Every excavator, every excavating machine, of any kind has hydraulic. But somebody decided to use magnets for your elevator. Maybe they're good. Which is better, hydraulic or magnets? What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to say this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if hydraulic or magnets is better, but you know what I would do is I would consult an engineer, not the Army guys that are behind him. Unless they are PhD engineers, then I would consult them. But I get the feeling they're probably not, for the most part.
Right.
I want to see. I want to see them take like our submarines that are like the best submarines in the world. Like we sell, like our submarines, we sell them to a few other countries, and they're nuclear. They're made with nuclear. They're powered by nuclear. They're not powered by magnets or anything else. And
well, nuclear power is basically just steam power.
No.
That's how it works.
A nuclear generator is a steam generator. We just use nuclear radioactive material to generate the heat.
But like just what he's talking about, like a steam. I mean, he's talking about like I think coal or something. Like we used to have steam.
Well, he was talking about hydraulics.
Yeah.
On that instance, let me give you another one with some commentary here.
Instead of using hydraulic, they use glass
magnets for quite some time.
I just wanted to share that.
I love just let me say that like one of the happiest moments I've had in the last few years is when I found out that you watched Jon Stewart.
Yeah, actually, Jon Stewart was he helped me survive the U.S. because I was there under the Trump administration. Bush administration, and Bush Jr. And Fox News and all the other, they were so wild on the Republican propaganda that Jon Stewart kept me safe. Back then, Colbert was a sidekick back in 2005.
Oh
You
yeah, I
know,
remember that.
My like he is like my one happy moment during the week. Like him, every Monday I wait for, and he always never fails to like make me
but,
laugh.
but still, I realized that they are using the social dollar. But to go back to something that Phantom said, this is why I care for this thing now that looks like it's ridiculous. He's not doing it by accident. It's what he said. It's what industry is behind him.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
um,
Did you know how she's from Louisville, Kentucky too? Did you know that?
I'm sorry.
Um, she's from Louisville, Kentucky.
Who? That woman on the Daily
Yes.
Show?
I can't even think of her name right now because I just can't remember nobody's names. But yeah, she's from Louisville, Kentucky, which is like the capital. In fact, that's where my daughter lives, and they had a terrible plane crash yesterday there. And
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I heard about
saw
that.
The UPS.
yes,
That was wild.
my daughter, her college is close to that, so she had to like they got told that they couldn't leave the building because of the smoke and it was massive. But there's still
So
people missing from so.
yeah, and what it brought to my mind when that happened is how none of us expect to die
Yeah,
that day that they woke up,
yep. Because they were
right?
on their way to Hawaii, like that crew right there. Of course, there was only 3 people on the
No,
plane.
I mean the people on the ground. There
Yeah,
were 11 dead. Only 3 were on the airplane.
yeah. Well, there's still people missing too, though.
Right, right, right.
They haven't even like. There's a lot of people that they don't know. Last I heard, there's still some people missing. But
So I hope you guys understand that this is the reason we are doing this apologetics. I'll call it that because we ended up realizing or believing, if you will, that this is the truth. So it matters to realize the truth before you go, and that's why we're doing it. And I see things like that, and I realize how imminent it is because we never know. Nobody knows the day they wake up that today, when you enter the grocery store, a Boeing is gonna fall on your head. Like,
Right.
yep,
so I
I
just
would,
want you to know there's no hate or that's it. It's we're trying to make people realize what we did.
and I
Yeah.
applaud you guys. I mean, if I believe the things you do, I would want to be doing the same thing that you're doing. Like I completely get it. You know.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Um, Another thing that popped in my mind earlier as you guys were talking, as we were talking about this democracy that we have in quotes, is that this is what actually started bringing me to this truth that I just kept seeing that everybody seems to be working for the same enemy, and the Bible keeps telling me about this world being run by Satan. So this contributes to the fact that I'm no longer voting. I keep seeing that every side is just pushing the same agenda with the other side, but less or more. I'll give you a quick example. For me, the fires in California were very personal because California, for me, is the place that showed me hospitality. And I went into a lot of homes, and it's like I call it my second homeland.
Nice.
So,
I have a
so
daughter that lives there, so yeah.
so when that happened and the whole like vicinity of Los Angeles burned, it was so sad to see this democratic social side giving $770 to everybody that lost their homes. Each burnt house $700.
But that's
I,
not. But that's not actually true, though,
it,
Kelly.
i-
That
it
was like
is.
that was the immediate money that was like immediately given to them after when they needed to get.
Where is the other announcement for more money?
Well, I
Where?
mean,
Well,
like FEMA though, they do like there's like they just that was just money that like when you're homeless and you're out on the street, you can get a motel room with. Like that's immediate, and then you have to sign up a
Yeah,
different
but you have no
program.
papers to sign up.
That was not all they got. But I mean, like, we don't like the Republicans are getting rid of FEMA, so there won't be any. There won't be even be $700 and some dollars.
Yeah, don't forget that you cannot tell this guy here compare something the Democrat side does to something that the Republican side does worse, because I'm with you already. Like I see them both as working for, you don't want to call it Satan, let's call it money. For the Bible, it's the same. Like it's telling you that the root of all evil is money, and you can't have two masters. You can either serve God or money. So money is what Satan uses. So I see this worldwide. It's not just the U.S., but here in Greece, everybody that lost their homes to a fire received 20,000. And there is a lot of argument and fights because 20,000 is not enough to rebuild a house.
No, nowhere near.
no, but that's not. I mean, that $700. That was not what they got in total. That was like FEMA steps in and they're like insurance, and a lot of those people probably had homeowners insurance as well. Like it's there's a whole network of systems that takes care of these issues.
But I
It's
never
not,
heard of another announcement. BBM, get
well,
back here.
no, the announcement, they don't like do an announcement. Hey, FEMA's going to give this money. It's more like it FEMA works more like an insurance claim where you get it's settled individually as you like, here's what my house was, here's how much it was worth, here's what happened to it, and they assess the damage and then cut a check for
Yeah,
that amount of money. But they don't announce, hey, we're giving everyone X number of dollars, because not everyone has the same house and not everyone had the same damage to their house.
yeah.
So it's settled more like an insurance claim than
Okay.
just
The 700, the 700 some dollars is just like whenever an emergency happens, whatever, they've set that amount to hand out like immediately to people. So like you don't have to like go feel like to get the FEMA claim, the regular FEMA claim, you have to go through like all this paperwork and stuff. But they have that 700 some dollars set aside, um, and it's um it's like whenever somebody has an emergency, you don't have to have a lot of like documentation to come to show that you're in need. You know what I mean? If you just live in that area, pretty much you can come and just get that money immediately. So you can go get a motel room, so you can feed somebody, so you can get clothes. I mean, it's just
All
you know,
right.
yeah.
The thing is, I'm not saying that from the perspective of being so far away and just hearing one announcement from the president, that you guys are doing a good job in explaining that there is more to it. It is the US that started complaining about such a low amount of money.
I
It
know,
was
I know, I
not
heard that, but that's
right.
propaganda. That's like the Republicans were like telling that, and they know that that's not the actual, that's not the facts of it. You know what I mean? Like or Fox, let's say Fox, not Republicans, but Fox
Okay.
goes on news and says, "Oh, they're only giving $700," but Fox is well aware of the fact that that
Oh
is not
yeah.
the entire program. That is just the emergency funding money,
Okay.
and actually, it was lower under Trump's first term, I think, and the Democrats raised the actual amount for the emergency funds up under Biden, because it was lower than that. I think that's right.
Since you mentioned that, this is how I see it. I see it as let me just, as Democrats, let's give them something for now, and then you take over Republican side, and then whatever happens, we can blame it on you because it wasn't us anymore. And I think this is how the system works. I'm not blaming any side. I think that's how they do it. There were plans set a decade ago about a huge railway to go all around Los Angeles, and nobody was selling their homes to allow for that metro, I think it was.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
like people, I mean, like it's hard to build infrastructure in some part, I mean, around Los Angeles because like people don't want to sell their homes. Like you can't buy, because in California, whatever you would get for something, you can't buy something else. Everything's so expensive. But anyway,
and it's here too, and I think this is why they're using wildfires and natural disasters to do, get the plans through that they had. And I think both sides are earning from that. It's not just one of the two.
Probably so.
I love
Hey,
you, Dan, but I'm not going to argue with all your points. No.
I don't want you thinking that I'm attacking any side. I'm attacking both.
I know.
In my country as well.
You're not a big fan of government anyway, I don't think, probably.
No, I am, but it should be for the people, by the people, as it claims.
Yeah.
We have here situations where we've seen that there is no independent justice. Like if something happens with a politician, it gets under the rug, and it is worldwide. Should we bring up the island? Should we bring up the laptop? Should we bring up the emails? All these things, they never make it to true justice. You know what I'm saying? So there is a distinction between the citizen and what justice gets served when a citizen does something wrong and when a politician does something wrong.
Let me just say that I think there's a big difference between like Hillary's emails and Biden's laptop
Oh,
and
okay.
child pedophilia, like pedophilia.
Okay, let me hit you with this. Have you read the emails?
No, but they never. The thing about it is they never could. If they had anything on those emails, they would have prosecuted her in the first thing.
No, that's the issue with the emails. The issue is what remained on mainstream was that it was absurd from her to use an outside server.
Yes, I know, but that's not
Right. But that's not the case. That's not the problem. The focus of the problem is not that. The true problem is what was in those emails.
I don't know what was in the emails, and I don't think that anybody does. Like I don't.
The whole Pizzagate scandal.
But that turned out to be that turned out to be true. You know that a guy went into that pizza place that was supposed to be that place. I mean, like they told all this, and so it drove a man with an AR-15 to enter that pizza place in D.C. where that was claimed to be, and go in to rescue the children that were locked in the basement. And he was finally arrested without anybody being injured, but there is no basement even in that pizza place.
Oh, it was the hidden basement.
Like
Yeah.
it didn't even
I
have.
know I know that came out in the news that there were there was no basement.
But I mean, but there wasn't. So
But we have a picture of the owner, who is Alephadis. He's a Greek, who is talking about his pizza place, and he said, "Wait to see what we have in the basement because we are producing everything we put in the pizzas in contrast to everybody else. That's why we are the best."
I mean, I don't buy those. I like those
The
conspiracies.
basement is there, whether the media is trying to hide it or not, because even the media are in on this.
I don't know. I'm not going to
When
say
it comes,
I'm not
when
going
it
to say you're
comes,
wrong, but I do not believe that. I mean, like I would have to be shown evidence of that because the police, even, I mean, the DC police and everything said there is no
my
basement.
my point is this. My point is this: there is no true justice. it is an illusion. When it comes to these people, there is no justice.
I mean, the pedophilia, the Epstein Island, yeah, is proof that justice is not very served very well.
Yeah, but the Republicans will say that that's just the Democratic propaganda.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that they're both covering for each other.
But we actually have, I mean, yeah, and there was Democrats that went to that island. Don't get me wrong. And going to the island don't necessarily mean you were involved in the pedophilia. But
Yeah, it kind of does, because the airplane is called Little Lolita.
yeah, but there was like he had
It's not-
other.
Well,
like,
you could think it's an ironic name.
Right?
had some-
There's
he
no
had
other
some-
airline that can take you there.
But you know that plane was actually the plane that Trump used in the last election because he had to sell his when he got like all those court filings against him. He was forced to sell his plane, and so during the last election, the 2020 election or 2024 election, him and RFK flew around on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, like they were allowed to use it. So.
Wow.
All right.
we have-
Guys. I need to go to bed. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
It's been a good conversation, lots of fun.
Thanks for dropping by, brother.
Yeah.
Hope to see you soon. Have
Yeah.
a great night.
And sorry,
Thank
Dan. I'm sorry we've been bashing Trump, but
He doesn't come across as the Trump fan to me.
Who, Dan?
Oh, Dan, you said. Okay.
I said Dan. I was talking about Dan.
Yeah, at least Dan knows I'm bashing both sides. And in Greece, because we have like 5 parties, I'm bashing five sides because they're all hypocritical.
I wish we had more parties, though. I do wish we had more parties.
One of the differences here and there is that if you cast your vote in the third party, it gets burned away. It doesn't have a reflection inside the body in the parliament.
Well, I mean, we have more parties too. We have the Green Party and stuff like that. But like you said, they're not going to win.
Right. At least here,
major
at least here, if we manage to raise the percentage of a low party from 10% to 12%, we're adding 2 more representatives inside the body of the 300.
Yeah. You have a parliament.
Yeah, 300 people.
That's what we have instead of the parliament is a little different than the Congress that we have. Like,
Yeah. Which complicates it further, making it for the average citizen impossible to grasp it. While the parliament is easier to grasp, like according to the percentages of the votes, you immediately have a picture of the parliament with how many seats are blue, how many seats are red. You get that from the percentage, and it's much easier for people to follow.
Yes.
But in the US, you get lost in the details.
Yes. And like you're not ever going, like, as long as there's a party that gets a percentage of the vote in your parliament, there's going to be representatives in the parliament from that party.
Yeah.
And here, that does, here that you can totally get 10% of the vote for one party and end up with no representatives. In the Congress.
So when let me say it this way: when we gave you democracy, that's not what we were expecting to happen.
Exactly.
And by the way, we have scandals like that with children in my country too.
Oh yeah.
There have been children that somebody was pushing them in different houses, and when he announced that I'm gonna spill out all the beans on the names, he disappeared. A lot of names worldwide seem to be involved in this network, and they're covering for each other. So I no longer believe in sides. I believe in the side that would do that and the side that wouldn't do that.
That's right.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe in, and I don't see such a party anymore.
I'm just gonna say I am a survivor of childhood sexual trauma, and so I definitely see that as a thing that we need to
make a priority on stopping.
Yeah, and I don't think there are any more brakes on this trolley that is going downhill. I don't think there are brakes. They've cut them, willingly cut the brakes. We're going down. We can't stop it anymore. Remember that film with Tom Cruise and Eyes Wide Shut and Nicole Kidman? I think it was Nicole Kidman. Eyes Wide Shut. Have you seen that film?
I don't think so. No,
So
I'm
it
not
is
really a film person.
okay. So yeah, me neither. So it is a film that when we were back in the DVD era, that we
Yeah.
were going and shopping, I would ignore it because on the poster, on the cover, was the face of Tom Cruise and the face of Nicole Kidman ready to kiss each other. So I was like, I ain't watching that. But it turns out it's Stanley Kubrick and it's his last movie. And it looks like he spilled the beans on them. You should look that up, Eyes Wide Shut, and watch it because you're going to see there some very wild stuff that don't relate to that cover of that.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is really weird. I think he's a Scientologist.
Mm-hmm.
So like I kind of look at him as kind of like off the rocker a little bit.
Yeah, but do me a favor, watch that, Eyes Wide Shut.
I mean, we like Scientology is a religion that we actually know that a man made up.
Yeah.
You know, like in our lifetime, like
For
our
money.
lifetime.
Yeah.
Like you and I have been alive longer than Scientology has existed.
Yeah.
And we know like we can study where it came from, and there's still people, and they're all rich people too. Like it's like you have to have money to be in it. So
Yeah.
it's strange.
And we have a definition of a cult with Scientology. Like we can point to one and say there.
Yeah, that is definitely a cult. It's definitely a cult. Definitely.
So I just think this is worldwide. So what that movie shows is that Tom Cruise was making it big, and he started getting invited to some weird parties.
Mm-hmm.
People were wearing masks, and they were doing very weird things, and it's showing you the things.
And see, I think he's really weird though too. Is what I'm saying.
I agree. But I've heard interviews from I've seen interviews from both him and Nicole Kidman when they reference that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like they're very scared to talk about it, both of them.
He's not married to her anymore, right? They got a divorce, didn't they?
With whom?
They were married,
With Nicole, yeah.
but they're divorced now, I think.
Yeah, his next wife came through Scientology.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now that he married her. Yeah,
and she dumped him.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor. He's not very lucky in love, is he?
Yeah. I gotta give it to him though. He's a very good actor.
Yes,
I mean, whatever movie he makes,
he was good in Top Gun, anyway.
he is good stuff. He's good stuff. But religious beliefs, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a little out there. That's what I think. When you get money, you get weirder sometimes. Like, seems like you have less touch with reality, just because maybe you can't leave your house without people mobbing you.
So, do check that movie out, and do me a favor when you watch it. Don't think it's a Tom Cruise movie. Think of it as a Stanley Kubrick movie.
Okay.
Right? So you don't get preoccupied by the Scientologist.
All
you know. All right. Should we say good night to everybody?
Yes. Good night. And Dan's out there still.
Yeah, because we're gonna get this channel banned if we keep going. Me and you.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. And I didn't mean to. And Dan, I just want to say that if you ever want to have a discussion about this, we can do this on my channel, and me and you can talk about this. But,
I'll moderate.
Oh, okay.
Fair
we
and
can do it
balanced.
here, but I don't think that this is a plot. Like this channel ain't about politics.
We're trying to avoid it, but
Yeah.
I'm failing because I see an aspect of the Bible warning us against politics. So when I see people being very into it, I'm trying to warn them not to. So that's why I keep bringing them up, and that's why it looks like I'm attacking Trump all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the one that all the Christians have looked up to, like he's some sort of a savior. So it's nothing personal. I attacked Trump, as I told you earlier, back in 2016. I didn't know you guys back in 2016.
Nope.
And then now that I'm completely different and changed, I see that he's playing Christians way worse than they were off with the Democrats.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Democrats were straight up in their agenda, at least, you know.
Stephen may like be mad when he wakes up in the morning. We did all these politics, and President Dan. We're sorry, President Dan.
Democratically elected, mind you, because we believe in a democracy around here. Just not out there, just in here. All right. That being said, have a great night, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this, whatever it was. Call it a show. I don't know. Dan agrees. He takes up on the challenge.
Good.
Oh wow, that would be wild. Left versus right, like straight up. I'll definitely be there.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you, Achilles.
Wishing everybody a good night. And I'll just say God bless. Even if you are not a believer, God can still bless you.
That's fine.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Take care.